Live from the weirdest episode of Scooby-Doo you've ever seen, it's Malignant Bear, featuring me, JD Grospitz. Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. Tonight we're finishing Purrfect Date, because I sorta kinda just want to get it over with. It's not bad, but it's weird. And I think I figured out why, and we'll talk about this at the end. But we are going to pick up with Chapter 4. In the last stream, we tried and failed to romance some cats, and I did a little bit of reading and realized that put us on a path where we were going to get the neutral ending, where literally nothing happens and we would have to restart. So I just restarted off stream and got caught up to where we were, but made the correct choices so that we didn't waste a bunch of time. So we're going to pick up on Chapter 4, and we're going to romance the last 3 cats, and see how this one ends. This game is supposed to be a dating sim where you're a researcher who's romancing cats. Because you're turning into one. It's not that creepy. Maybe, I don't know. But the more maybe interesting thing is what exactly you're researching and why and for who. And we've started to get some clues to it, and the game is definitely getting darker as it goes on. So we're just going to push through and finish it tonight, and see where it takes us. Maybe to a good ending, hopefully. It better. I don't know if I can take any more heartbreak. So, again, I restarted and replayed chapters 1, 2, and 3, and got all of the good endings for them, so romanced all 3 cats, completed all the research and recon in all of them, which is good. And then I also started a little bit on chapter 4, just in the interest of saving time, and I'll talk about what we did there. So, as you can see, I already did some of the research, and these were absolute nothing burgers. They took a couple seconds to go through. It was just like tagging cats on the beach and counting up beakers or something. Literally told us nothing. And then in recon, we learned that the old couple, the Marigolds, who are the island's caretakers, 100% know what's going on. They've been there a while. They were having an argument about what's going on, and then from that we gained that Mrs. Marigold wants to just shut up and do what they're told. Mr. Marigold, his name is Mason, is very much aware of what's going on, doesn't like it. He is the one who's been sending us secret messages, and is possibly doing other things as well. It seems like he's a good guy, though, so... And I also did the first date with McMurphy. That's who we're romancing this time, the Irish cat. Because I did it off-stream as well in the failed playthrough, and I figured I would do it again because the first date is really awkward, and I didn't want to show it. It's literally McMurphy takes you in the woods, gets blackout drunk, and then flirts with you. And it's like, it's not played for laughs or anything. It was just very bizarre. So we're gonna pick up after that and hope that it gets better. But yeah, we're romancing McMurphy, the Irish cat. If you want to see the first date of that for whatever reason, I did verify that there are other people showing it on YouTube. So, but it's very bizarre. I would feel more comfortable about McMurphy being an offensive stereotype if it was like done for laughs and all the other cats were. Like, just over the top and goofy to the point of being ridiculous. Like, not that that would make it better, but that wouldn't make it right, but it would make it better, because it's like, okay, I get what you were going for. But McMurphy just comes off as very offensive, especially because the devs are British, and he's just an offensive Irish stereotype. Like, maybe not. But anyway, we're gonna romance him, because we have to. Sweltering in this mess tent, typical for me to get cook duty on the hottest day so far. Step out for a moment and try to catch some air. Psst. Not really sure if I heard something or if the dehydration is getting to me. Take a swig from my water bottle. Hey, aren't you gonna share, Kara? Oh, McMurphy, was that you psting? What are you suggesting, Kara? I only use the designated litter areas. Murph, you're incorrigible. You know exactly what I meant. Come on, Kara, never mind all that. We have work to do. I am working. I'm supposed to be cooking for this evening. I mean the work of adventuring variety. Oh, of course you do. Come on, don't be such a bore. Sorry, McMurphy, but I can't. I'm very busy here. It's going to take hours to defrost and braise this meat from the mainland. If you come with me, you may end up providing a much tastier dish in half the time. What do you say, Kara? You up for the crike? What are you saying? You mean I should just bunk off? That's the spirit. Strip off your apron and let's hit the trail. You can't just... What if someone comes looking for me? Leave a note. Gone fishing. Maybe it's the heat, but I'm overcome with a moment of madness. Okay then, you wild Irish rover. I'm all yours. Yeah, I can't stress enough just how awkward his first date was. He came off as just very drunk and lecherous. It was just bizarre. Before I can answer, he slunk into the thickening of the forest behind the clay cooking pits, whip off my apron and follow behind. Wait, Murph, it's too hot to run. Really had to cool ourselves off, eh? He's led me up the cliffs and without warning takes a running jump off the edge. See him flying through the air and watch mesmerized as he cuts through the water. Oh no, Murphy, are you okay? Don't panic, I'm coming. Kick off my flip-flops and shorts and follow him into the water. I'm surprised at how shallow it is and that I'm easily able to stand. Murph, where are you? I frantically search about, fearing for his safety, and suddenly feel something brush against my legs, making me scream out loud. What's that? I look down into the clear water and see McMurphy speeding along the seabed like a shark, fast and sleek, suddenly breaking up through the surface with something in his mouth. McMurphy, you can swim? What on earth is that? Oh my, it's a fish. I can see he's smiling even with the sprat in the way. You can fish? Yeah? He spits the fish back into the water. There truly is no end to my talents, Kara. I'd say that again, but I have so many questions I don't even know where to start. Catch your breath, Kara. I know I'm exhilarating company, but you need to exercise a little bit of restraint or you'll be swooning on me next. Relax, the salt water is very buoyant. I copy McMurphy and we both lie on our backs in the surface. It's very calming and tranquil, and I'm finally able to collect my thoughts. I realize I've not had this much clarity in a long time. This is so cool. I know. Trixie took me here first, calls it the Ponder Pool. Oh, can you all swim then? I thought cats... Before I can even finish my sentence, McMurphy cuts in. It's a common misconception that cats can swim. As you can see, it's another thing we excel at. So humble, too. As Nana McMurphy used to say, if you've got a trumpet, blow it. What about the fish? Where'd they come from? There are no birds or fish on this island. It's one of the first things they tell you in the orientation. It's because they don't know. Don't know what? It's better if I just show you. Come on, Kara, follow me. Swim for a while with McMurphy leading the way on purpose, then he stops. Well, notice anything interesting? Well, the water's much cooler and deeper here. Anything else? Can you feel anything? I stand perfectly still for a moment and begin to feel a strange sensation around my legs, like a warm trickling under the water. McMurphy, are you peeing? Don't be so crude, Kara. It's a current. Look over there. Refocus my eyes until they see what I thought was a rock shadow. It's moving. It comes closer into focus and I realize it's a shoal of small fish darting in and out of one particular spot. What is that? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Isn't it enough to see, Kara? To experience? Do you always have to understand everything? Well, yeah, that's my job. It's who I am, McMurphy. I'm a scientist. It's in my DNA to understand. Actually, we were vets. I caught that going back, that we are apparently veterinary students, which raises even more questions that we seem confused about cats and how they work. So not only are we just awful scientists, we're terrible vets as well. Come on then, scientists, let's take a closer look. Move close to the area where the fish are gathered. I put my hands down and realize I can touch them and even pick them up. Something is stopping them from swimming further inland. McMurphy, we need to get going. I'm going to be in big trouble if I'm away for any longer, but thank you for showing me this. Definitely going to come back here to try to understand it. I wouldn't waste your time, Kara. Wouldn't be a waste. I'm committed to finding out all He cuts across me as I'm speaking. I meant coming back to this particular spot. The fishes won't be here. Oh, I see. It's only at certain times? Different locations. It changes all the time. There's no pattern to it either. Just be sticking pins in maps, Kara. I brought you here because I saw them this morning. Chances are they'll be gone by this afternoon. The disappointment must be apparent on my face because McMurphy switches lanes super fast to distract me. Okay, Kara, it's time to strip off. Oh, wow. Coming on a little strong there, eh? Huh? That t-shirt would make a lovely net. Let's go fishing. Okay. I whip off my top and use it as a net to scoop up as many fish as possible. It's quite effective. We're not even wearing a t-shirt in this photo. Wearing a lab coat and a button-up. Now you can rustle up a tasty fish supper in no time at all, and you get to enjoy my company for an extra hour. Win-win. Okay, so now I have a little challenge for you. That car is music to my ears. There's nothing I like more than a gauntlet thrown. It's hardly a gauntlet, more like a brain teaser. How am I going to explain to the rest of my team this bountiful ocean offering? I tell them anything at all. Because they're going to notice we're eating something that wasn't on the delivery list or the menu rota and tastes way too fresh for something recently defrosted. You worry too much about things that really don't matter. I know he's right, I could do with loosening up a bit, but this is a pretty big dilemma, really. Maybe I ought to tell Professor Pawpaw about... Pauper about this. What's the harm? Mac has stopped splashing around and looks me squarely in the eyes. There would be harm, Kara. Trust me on that. Obviously, I don't mean to tell him about you or anything that would endanger any of us. Just I noticed this shoal of fishes and I took some. End of. You really think you could mention a phenomenon like this and that would be the end of it? That he wouldn't start putting all manner of investigations and disruptions in place? You're touchingly naive, my friend. I feel myself blush. I am a bit naive, but I don't like the thought of lying. So what do you suggest then, if you know so much about everything? Give me a plausible story and I'll follow through. Murphy lets out a wild howl and splashes water at me. That's what I like to hear, you impetuous daredevil, you. Splash him back and a furious water fight ensues, making such a ruckus I'm amazed no one comes to check what's going on. After a good 10 minutes of laughter and play, we run out of steam and float in the buoyant, warm water. Let's hear it then, Oz. What's my cover story? It's a very simple case of brazen bluffing. Okay? Make a simple but delicious meal, and if anyone should ask where the fish came from, shrug your shoulders and ask the same question. Huh? It's all in the poker face. You remain completely impassive and ask the same question. Yeah, I wondered that too. Where did the fish come from? They're delicious. Really? Trust me, Kara. As a cat who is forever risking one of his 9, the simpler you keep it, the more they buy it. They ask you where you got them from, tell them the fridge. Simple. I feel quite giddy at the prospect of getting away with a ruse. Okay, Murph, let's gather supper. We have an abundance in no time, and I haul my catch back to the kitchen in good time to make a tasty meal for everyone. A little extra for my feline pals. More romance. It's too beautiful a day to be slaving in a hot lab, so when Murph invited me for a stroll, it was easy to say yes. Not that I need much incentive to spend time with him, he's very engaging company. Come to one of my favorite spots where the cliff sweeps upwards above the blue water. Looks like the same one as last time, in fact. Suddenly, without any warning, McMurphy plunges over the top of the towering rocks, run to the cliff's edge with my heart in my mouth to see what's happened. There's a sight I still haven't gotten used to. It's in the water, more otter than cat, waving me to follow. Jump, Kara, jump! Sure, the water's grand! McMurphy! Shocked by the shrillness of my voice, I hadn't intended to be quite a shriek, was aiming for stern admonishment. It's so dangerous, you could do yourself serious injury or worse from such a height. Oh, pish, come on, Kara, you won't live to see the little surprise I have in store. Already surprised me enough for one day. Ha, which of us is meant to be the pussy? Really? Okay, game. This I'm filled with indignance that takes over my body, and before I know it, I'm halfway between ledge and water, bracing for impact. This way. Still catching my breath as McMurphy's head disappears under the surface. My mind is saying, no, this is ridiculous. Get back to land this instant. My body is following the Irish cat. My eyes take a moment to adjust, but when they do, I can hardly believe what I'm looking at. It's a ship. As we approach from the stern, it looks pretty much intact. See the name on the rear port side, and though faded and worn away in parts, the words are unmistakable. Kitty's Desire. My head is swimming due to the excitement and lack of oxygen. I flounder to the surface to catch my breath. Kitty's Desire? I feel like I know that name. McMurphy eventually bombs up to join me on the surface. Surprised? A shipwreck? Here? It's a very old island, Kara. A lot has happened here. But how did a ship even get here before the path was made? Hey, don't ask me, Kara. I'm just in it for the grog. McMurphy smiles and dives back into the murky depths. I follow, a flailing flesh bag in comparison to Murphy's sleek figure. Try to get closer to look at the wreckage. It's a big ship, likely a trading vessel judging from the size. It's hard to tell how old it is, but it certainly isn't modern, maybe 18th, 19th century? We enter the ship from the huge hole in the stern. I realize a lot of the vessel is actually on land. It's obvious that it ran ashore after it was damaged at sea. There's not much time to ponder the mechanics of what happened, as McMurphy is tugging at my t-shirt with his right paw, while gesturing with his other paw outstretched to a cabin he wants me to enter. I'm grateful for the air trapped inside and gasp for breath. Here, gotta look. Hang on, let me catch my... But he's already ducked into the next cell. How's he not out of breath? I realize his ability to swim underwater is unusually strong, but he barely breaks the surface at all. In here, through the hole. Sounds really excited, and as I enter I see why. There, in the center of the cabin, is a chest. It's wedged between the wall and surprisingly well-preserved writing desk, the only thing preventing it from falling and being buried in the sand. A treasure chest! Sound like a giddy child and feel embarrassed, but McMurphy joins in my glee, and suddenly we're cheering and laughing together. Open it! Open it! Okay. What are you waiting for? The key? Does it need one? Of course it does, Murph. It's a locked treasure chest. You not just break the lock. You think I am Houdini? I don't know about that, but I know you're a very clever scientist whose thirst for knowledge matches my thirst for grog. So you get yours, and I'll go get mine. How's he gonna open them? The Moggy grins before darting into the next cabin, and I hear the familiar clinking of bottles shortly after. I decide to try the lock anyway while McMurphy is getting his. I look around for something, anything I could lever it with, and I'm disappointed. Everything except the chest and desk must have washed away a long time ago. Come back with some tools to tackle that lock, Murph. There comes no response. McMurphy is still obviously too busy with his looting and pillaging, so I decide to swim to the beach to get a better look at this wreck from land. When I take in the scene properly, I can make out what looks like another large ship just a bit further down the beach. I hardly believe what I'm seeing. One huge sea vessel finding its way to this island is strange enough, but two meeting the same unhappy fate is more than my brain can process. Proximity of the pair would suggest a collision of some kind. Possibly the second vessel could have been a pirate ship? He was attacking the merchant vessel. I get the feeling I'm looking at the conclusion of a very interesting story here. Wonder why Professor Pauper didn't tell me about it. Obviously he must be aware of the two vessels. My nose for intrigue has started to twitch and I'm burning to know more. I decide to take some of the debris, splinters, and small chunks of metal to pocket it for later analysis in the lab. What do you need to analyze? It's a boat. I'm satisfied I've thoroughly combed the beach for specimens and have salvaged anything of interest. I realize I haven't seen McMurphy for quite a while. My heart stops and the hairs on my neck stand on end. How could I have been so wrapped up in my work I neglected to keep an eye on my friend? McMurphy? Met with silence and still water. I run back towards Kitty's Desire, my heart thumping in my chest. McMurphy? I jump in the sea and swim back to the stern of the ship. There doesn't seem to be any life around here. Break through the surface with a choke and try to call it again, but my throat is hoarse and full of seawater. Where? I catch sight of the shadow out of the corner of my eye crawling along the seabed. I dive under to get a better look and see instantly that it's the Irish cat, stalking and prowling as if he were on land. Quickly grab him by the scruff of the neck and drag him back to shore. McMurphy, you loon, what on earth were you playing at? Catch my breath and check on him, but he's happily rolling on his back in the sand. Me? I was having a grand time until you manhandled me with those big meaty paws of yours. So we'll let it go. Big meaty what? Charming, I must say. I'll have you know I was worried about you. I fully appreciate it. Meaty paws? McMurphy has started laughing, and it's too infectious not to join in. Seriously though, Mac, that was some very impressive breath control. I didn't see you come up for air once. I think I get it from my mother. God bless her. I believe she had fantastic lungs. Do you remember her? Flashes, sometimes, but Kara, when I'm on that grog, I have all kinds of flashes, so who knows what's real and what isn't. That's sad. What? I could feel he's nudging me off that subject, so I respect his privacy. What do you know about these two beauties, then? Survey the ships in silence for a moment or two. I know they've been a source of great pleasure for me, Kara. Beyond that, I don't really care too much. Really are the embodiment of hedonism. I'll take that as a compliment. Can't help but laugh. There's worse things in life than a little pleasure. True, but a little balance may be even better. That's where you come in. Bring me balance. You let me be me, but you help me stay safe. Yeah, I suppose so, and you bring some spice to what otherwise might be a rather bland scientist's taste. Murphy's green eyes glitter in the sunlight, and he throws me a wink. Come on then, swashbuckler. I need something to eat after all that adventuring. Walk you back to camp if you promise to save a bite for your friendly tour guide. I don't know what accent I'm giving him, just not. Alright, so I gotta do one more romance. As the sun is going down, I decide to retreat into my tent for the night. When I undo the flap, I see McMurphy curled up asleep on my pillow. McMurphy, you're gonna get fur all over everything. Really? You're still worried about that on an island full of cats. Oh, hi there. You're back late, you rapscallion. Why are you in my bed? Ah, come now. We both knew I'd get in your bed eventually, didn't we? Jeez. That's... My hand reaches for the spray bottle, but McMurphy throws up his paws defensively. I'm an unarmed cat, and I actually came to give you something for good behavior. Don't make me send it back now. Give me something? What? Sure, now you're listening. I found something that might interest you. It's more that grog, McMurphy. I can assure you I'm not interested in the slightest. I stood on the end of my bunk and pushed him off my pillow, but allow him to stay on the bed. As he moves reluctantly aside, I can see a black corner poking out from underneath my blanket. What's that? Why don't you take a look? I eye him skeptically, nervous of what he's roping me into now. Tell me what it is first. Will you just pick it up, Gara? I won't bite. Carefully reach for it and realize it's a small leather book, beautifully aged, and it seems to be in good condition. I open it as gently as I can, for fear that it might turn to ash in my hands. The first page, smudged and faded, but not too destroyed by time or water, are the words, Captain's Log. Can't stop myself from gasping out loud. Oh, Murph, how did you find this? It's a lot you can find at the bottom of a bottle or 12. Are you impressed? Impressed? I'm speechless. I could kiss your furry head. What is that face? Oh my god. Well, don't let me stand in the way of you and your passion. I hardly notice he's still speaking, as I become trying to decipher the entries, and I'm instantly engrossed. Captain's Log, 1789. The men are getting restless. I begin to fear from the continued safe running of this vessel, my vessel, of which they are in mind to take ownership. My captain's instincts serve me right. Are you listening? Sorry, what? Said maybe I should leave you to it then? Yes. No, wait, McMurphy, tell me where you really got this from. Was it the treasure chest? No, would you believe it? That thing was full of nothing but sand and salt water. A bit of treasure, on the other hand, I found at the bottom of one of my crates of grog, hidden in between the bottles. This belongs to a captain. Why would it be with the crew's provisions? Did you not understand the thing that you just read, that he was afraid of mutiny? God, we're dumb. Did you figure that one out, Brainiac? Think of it as a puzzle to keep you amused on all your cold, lonely nights. McMurphy smirks and saunters on out of my tent. Yes, new unlocks. Also found out if you use the last heart, then it's just a bad ending. You get sent back to the mainland because the doctor thinks that you're sick, but then when you try to get on the boat, then you just die anyways, because they realize that you're gonna be a cat, so they shoot you again. The rest mechanic is just stupid. That just shouldn't be in the game. There's no point for it. Like, there's never any reason that you're not just going to do everything. Alright, the diary. The book McMurphy gave me is sitting on my lap. I wonder what a pirate's diary is doing on this island. Maybe there'll be some clues in it. You know what it's doing on this island. You saw the boats that it came from. I felt an almighty crash, then silence and stillness everywhere. It took a few seconds to gather my thoughts and understand what happened here. If it would be really possible to understand this godforsaken place and how we got so off course to reach here. But in that moment, immediately after we hit the rocks, I knew two things. I was alive and we were on land, and I felt grateful. It felt like a chance at survival, and I was determined to grasp it. Felt my legs, intact, thank God, began crawling over the slate and shingle that seemed to stretch upwards to eternity. What type of place was this? Darkness was falling fast, but I needed to make sure we'd be safe in this unexplored terrain. Who knew what would happen during the long night? What creatures it may bring, even what strange meteorological anomalies. Look at the sky, I felt anything was possible, and we ought to be prepared. We had to work fast. I assembled the men, raggle-taggle as we were, into some kind of orderly unit, in hopes that the familiarity of discipline would raise morale. We're all tired, cold, and hungry. Some of us needed medical attention. This was not going to be easy. It's what I was trained for, and I would rather die than let my men down. Need to make some shelter. My voice sounded thin and weak against the sound of the waves crashing. At first light, I looked around and began to take stock properly. It's gratifying to see the temporary shelter we had cobbled together last night was still intact. No disasters had befallen us to add to the difficulties we were already burdened with. Considering the conditions we erected the makeshift cover in and how short a time, I felt heartened for the first time since we were all out of the sea, for the strange electrical storm that ended with us being thrust against here in the unforgiving rocks of this terrifying place. We would do so much more with daylight on our side and food in our bellies. So they were shipwrecked. Thought that being first inhabitants here is terrifying. How on earth did they survive? Maybe they didn't. Yep, they're still alive. Totally. Absolutely. Actually, I guess they could be the elder cats. Who knows? I want to believe they are rescued, but that seems unlikely. As I put the book away, a small piece of paper falls into my lap. It must have been hidden amongst the pages of the log. It's a note? Maybe a letter? Sally, I know you worry for me, but do not. The men do not treat me bad. They give me food and do not beat me so much anymore. The captain is not so fearsome as they say and is giving me lessons on my writing. I'm improving. I practice all night because I can't sleep. I work hard, sometimes till my hands crack and bleed, but I can still use them every morning to pray for you, that you are safe and well, and that we'll be together again. I miss you so much. The seas have not been smooth. Sometimes I worry that we will capsize completely and be lost out here forever, but I would swim to the widest ocean back to you, my sweet sister. Hope you're practicing your writing too. I would like to read your clever poems again. Your loving brother, Jim. What a sweet letter. I wonder what became of Jim. I bet he died of scurvy. Spoilers. I actually have no idea, but that seems pretty likely. Look at that star. Now take yourself 1,000 miles beyond it and tell me what you see. I laugh as McMurphy passes me the bottle. I take a swig before replying. How does he pass you anything? He doesn't have hands. What? McMurphy, what are you talking about? Just do it. That big shiny one way up there. Go 1,000 miles beyond it and tell me where you get to. Still in the vastness of space. Partying on Venus. Oh yeah? So many goddesses here, McMurphy. They're all naked. You should see this. The laughing stops. Or maybe it was only me in my head to begin with. I look down at the fluffy cat who seems far from his usual self. You okay, kitty cat? Think there's a big pub up in that sky. Murphy grins and closes his eyes. And there I am, my big human toes warming by the fireplace, and my long hair in the same dark golden color as the ale I have in my man hand. There's singing, lots of it, and people dancing around. Those that can't find space to dance on the floor dance on the tables, naturally. There's an old sky pirate in the corner telling stories to anyone who will listen of the time he sailed to Jupiter or Mars. And you're there too, of course. You sat right next to me. Unlimited drinks because we're famous in these parts. We're practically royalty. Ale, stout, beer, whiskey too, they just keep coming. When it gets dark and the place is quiet, we sneak out back to the beer garden. It's a clear view of Earth from where we're sitting. We don't miss it. McMurphy spits. Talk about our adventures. Talk about how we sailed off on this damned island. Now the ship became airborne. Talk about how we fought the big-breasted, bloodthirsty alien wenches of the Emerald Star. How we had to charm our way out of the space slug's lair. And I reckon we've had a lot of fun. Of course, you wouldn't be able to keep your paws off me. You'd be begging for a kiss, and I'd be saying, "Now, Kara, I'm not a piece of meat, you know." You'd be saying, "Oh, McMurphy, please, just one of your world-famous kisses, the fancy French kind." And I'd be saying, "Please, Kara, control yourself." I start snickering again. What are you laughing at? You? You trying to say you wouldn't be all over me if I was human? Of course I wouldn't. Ouch, don't be mean. You'd be the one begging me for a kiss. What on earth gives you that idea? Oh, top of the morning, Kara, I love you so much, to be sure. Give me a smacker. That is so offensive. I stop laughing. I went a little too far there, I'm sorry. McMurphy lets out a wry smile. Maybe you'll try to steal a little kiss. Who could blame me? You wouldn't get one. McMurphy's smile disappears. You know something? I think I should just come out and say it. You're alright. There's a pause. Not an uncomfortable pause, just a slightly confusing one. You're alright too. I've had better. McMurphy is gazing at the stars. I don't know what I'm doing. It's a strange feeling. I'm used to being a step ahead of everybody. Well, 2 steps ahead of you. Hey, don't be rude. This feeling, it isn't new to me, but I'm still not sure what it is. All I know is that you give me a way no one has before, and I get you too, even if you don't care to admit it. Guess it's time to let the cat out of the bag. Without thinking, I look around. I'm so used to bagging and unbagging cats for my work that I take him literally, but his expression stops me from reacting. Become attracted to you in these last few weeks. You've captured my heart, and I don't want to be without you. Wow, I wasn't expecting that, McMurphy. Haven't had so much fun, felt so free, or been so happy as the time I spent with you. Think I'd care about you either. You have my heart. To my surprise, McMurphy looks visibly relieved. Well, Kara, I look forward to many more adventures with you. We did it. A drunken cat has romanced us. A new low. Running out of research to do. Tagging cats on the beach. I think we've actually seen this one before. Oh, hi Kibbles, how's it going? Define it. Ooh, what's that thing? Kibbles is already eyeing my chipping pin. Looks like a weapon. Is it a weapon? No. Well, kind of. Do you want me to show you how it works? We have not seen this one. I saw this one. And learned that Kibbles is a huge weeb. Kibbles gives me an exasperated look. How dumb do you think I am, human? Look, you'd be doing me a huge favor. You just let me use this thing on you. Oh yeah? Yeah, I don't think I can actually tag you twice, and I need all the practice I can get. Well then, catch me if you can. I hear a "nya" echo through the forest as Kibbles seems to disappear before my very eyes. Impressive. How'd you do that, Kibbles? Come back. I won't shoot you, okay? I'll let you have a go if you can show me how you disappeared so fast. He won't come back now. A new voice startles me. He's like the Scarlet Pimpernel. I turn to see a mid-sized brown-haired cat scratching at the trunk of a tree. Oh, hello. I don't think we've met before. My name's... I know who you are, Turntail. The island is buzzing with news about you. Turntail? What does that mean? Realize I'm gonna have to scan her. Kibbles leaps from nowhere and pins the new cat to the floor. Shoot her, nah. Sorry? This won't hurt, it's for your own good, so we can make sure you stay safe and healthy, and... I seize my opportunity and move fast. I've already grabbed the scruff of her neck, and before I finish speaking, I've pressed the pen between her shoulder blades and released the microchip. There, all done. Wasn't so bad, was it? Well, awesome. Can I shoot the next one? I doubt that, Kibbles. I wiggle my thumbs in his direction. Oh man, gotta give me some of those. Can I get up now? I have things to do. Kibbles? He remains pinned to the other cat. I reach for the spray bottle in my pocket and he leaps away with a laugh. Off you go then and do your things. Anything I can help you with? No, just duties. Duties. Must get everything done. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to enter data for you in this catalog. How we call you B? B? Because you're so busy? Busy, B? Look, B, it would be good if I get you to come to the camp and check you over and make a note of your details. If you want to drop by when you're free, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll have to come back with a cat carrier. Not so great. I'll come by. I know the place. The cat slinks off. Do you know her, Kibbs? Kibbles emerges from his hiding place in a tree. Yeah, I know her. She okay? She seems a bit unhappy. She's fine. She's like you is all. Like me? What do you mean? You're the scientist. You work it out. Kibbles vanishes again. So I think that's confirmation that the talking cats were once human, basically. I've come to the forest to gather my thoughts. This morning I noticed another change in my appearance. Up until now, it's been easy to cover up my transition. Just had to keep on top of removing the excess body hair. Even the stub of a tail that appeared a few days ago hasn't been a problem. Who'd see it? This new development is definitely a turning point. How am I going to explain the fact that my pupils have turned into vertical slits? Can't risk anyone seeing me like this. I'm going to hide out for a while and see what happens. It's a beautiful night, and McMurphy and I are laying on the beach by the old shipwrecks, relaxed in the way that only cats can be. When I remember back to all the anxiety and stress I used to live with, the endless hours fretting over the antidote research makes my fur stand up. Thought our lives depended on it. It's my love for McMurphy that finally got me to see sense. Why was I so desperate to make him the same as me? Hadn't I fallen for him the way he was? So I decided to turn it on its head and become like him. I lose track after 30. We're laying under the stars. I can't help smiling to myself when I remember how cold it used to think it was at night. Mac used to rib me for my whining. Now here I am, as snug as can be, counting the stars with a cat I love more than anything else in the world. You see the trouble, Kara. You're still thinking like a scientist. What do you mean? So when you count the stars, you begin at 1 and assume you're going to keep counting numbers till you've quantified the whole galaxy. His eyes laugh. He laughs until his eyes twinkle with moisture. Yeah, go on then, Murph the Wise. Enlighten me a better way of counting. Ask me how many stars there are, take an overall squint at the sky, show how cloudy or clear it is, and decide if there's enough light to hunt. Not too much is the right amount for that, by the way. Or too little light for snooze when it's too bright, or just enough to steal a kiss from your sweetheart. Judging by the sky tonight, nuzzles into my fur and I'm the happiest cat in the universe. That was kind of sweet, I guess. We're in a relationship with McMurphy. We've done it. Good job, Gross 4. We are 66.7... Or I guess it's 66.6 repeating. I just rounded up. Percent done with the antidote. Gross 5 time. Step off the boat, blah blah blah. We can skip all this stuff. Oh, or it can skip it for us. 8 hours, 1 journal, and a wildcat chase later. Apparently the first day brings physical assault and the biggest trauma of my life.
Oh, is it awake? Human, we need to talk to you.
Save it, I know, this goes fluffy bomb, blah blah blah, catification, blah blah, evasive answers, blah blah, antidote, and basically you need my help. Did I miss anything?
No, not really.
Wow, you really did read that journal from front to back, didn't you? Front to back. Yes, help the kitties. Save us some time, at least. It snitches get stitches. It's very quick. Someone needs to take that phone away from Mason Marigold. So, okay, we've read the journal and we're aware of this. Which is an interesting thing, because you can kind of play some of the game out of order. Like some of the recon things and some of the research things you can do in different orders, and then they don't make sense. And then there's other things like this where it's like, okay, yeah, we read the journal, we know that Mason is the one sending us weird messages. But then we read the journal and, like, there's other things that we don't know that we should, and it's weird. It doesn't quite work. They wanted it to be a metagame thing, and it sort of failed at it, I think. We also got this at some point, this extras button, which is just other little things. And there's more we can unlock. But if there's time at the end, we might check that out. Okay, so first things first. Let's start on our romance with Kibbles. Ravenpaw has to be saved for the end. I'm out in the forest looking for some shade and a place where I won't be disturbed. I need to be relaxed when I finally read the precious contents of the envelope I'm carrying. Feels like I've waited an age for this moment. Eventually I find a clearing with a moss-covered tree stump that looks comfortable enough. Have a quick check around to satisfy myself that I'm alone before I take a seat and slowly peel the flap of brown paper and pull out my Mystery of Kanashi Boy. It's such a treat to get some quiet manga reading to myself. Sorry, manga. Just starting to get into it when I hear rustling coming from the nearby bushes. It's not the sound the wind makes when it ruffles the leaves. It's more deliberate than that. Look over towards the bush, and the noise stops abruptly. As soon as I resume reading, it starts again. Try to ignore it and continue with my comic.
They're not comics.
But it's very intrusive. I feel like I'm being watched. Who's there? The rustling gets louder. Hello? I inch my way towards the source of the sound, nervously holding my breath. Reach my arm to pull aside the branches when something bursts out of the bush and knocks me sideways. Kibbles, what on earth are you doing? Are you spying on me? Picks himself up from the ground, desperately trying to style it out.
Oh, you're here? I had noticed. I was just looking for something.
In a bush?
Yeah, I left my...
Kibbles looks around frantically for something. He locks eyes at an unremarkable-looking flat pebble and picks it up triumphantly.
My pebble. I left my pebble in this bush. Found it now.
Good. I'd hate to think what would happen if you'd lost that.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you doing?
Reading? I hold up the comic book, emphasizing the obvious.
Yeah, I thought so.
Very observant, Kibbles.
So is it Kanashi Boy?
What? I'm taken aback. Yes, actually it is. Do you know? And more to the point, how do you know?
Yeah, looks like issue 8.
That's right. I'm about to cough. 1 second. Those weird random tickles. Now I'm impressed as well as amazed. Kibbles, how on earth do you know? Questions are flooding my brain, but I know I need to play this cool. I don't want him shutting me out.
It's an old issue.
Looks like he has no intention of answering my question, so I try a different tack. I'm a little behind, so I brought a couple back issues with me to bring me up to date.
So which version are you reading?
Version? I'm not sure.
It's probably the inferior American translation. You really have to get the original Japanese or European versions to get all the nuance.
Oh?
It's impossible to truly understand the depths of Fuyoshi and Haru's relationship in the version you got.
You're a proper fan, then.
Could say that, I guess.
I'd love to pick your brain sometime.
What do you want to know?
Does the original version explain how they are able to enter the third chamber together when Chisato gets turned into a hog?
Oh yeah, that's because she tried to pass through the gate without Iso's approval.
Oh, you're right, that would make sense.
That bit was cut for some reason. American version they're selling these days is plebeian trash.
Well, I like it.
Any serious Kanashi Boy fan would track down the European translation.
I'm not sure, but I don't think I'd be able to get those delivered here. Guess I'll have to make do with the trash version.
I'd rather read something else than read that inferior rag.
Fair enough, but I'm still enjoying this. I start to go back to rereading my trash, but Kibbles suddenly springs forward, grabs the comic out of my hands, and runs off into the undergrowth. Hey, Kibbles, bring that back. But he's gone. I wait for a while, not quite believing what he just did. After a few minutes, I lose hope he'll return and start packing away my things to head back to camp. Just as I start walking away, Kibbles comes crashing back through the bush. Oh, there you are. What was that all about?
I got you something.
That's why I notice he's holding a copy of Kanashi Boy issue 8, but it's not my copy. This one is in pristine plastic cover. It looks new.
Here, this is my copy.
The European translation.
Original Japanese, actually.
Peak weeb. Wow, but how do you understand it? Don't tell me you speak Japanese. Also, you can read? At all?
Some. Look, I've made my own translation.
There are pieces of paper tucked in between the pages with scrawled writing on them. And you can read and write. That's... okay. How'd you manage that?
One of the ones before you. She helped me translate it.
One of the ones before me? What does that mean? A previous assistant? How dumb are you?
Want to read this or not?
Far more interested in what he's just said. You said helps? Kibbles is looking at the cover of Kanashi Boy, but they forgot the extra I that time. But he's pretending to be preoccupied. He's clearly said more than he intended to, and now he's distancing himself from it. That would suggest they're still here.
Where does the circle end?
Huh? I'm annoyed that he's obviously trying to change the subject.
It's a simple question, human.
I'm worried if I push him too far, he'll disappear into the bushes, so I decide to play along for now. Where does the circle end? He's watching me intently, and I get the feeling this is some kind of test. The circle ends where it began, probably.
Kibbs looks delighted. Oh, cool, you've read it.
Read what?
Sakaru.
I'm sorry, I don't know that one.
But you gave the right answer.
I have no idea what we're talking about now.
Sakaru by Hisei Katsuki. You haven't read it?
Afraid not. Is it good?
Only the best in its genre.
Which is?
Guru, naturally.
And that means?
Gore, of course.
Of course. Wasn't aware that gore was a whole genre. I realize I'm a bit out of my depth here.
I can lend it to you. I have a copy here.
Kibbles looks like he's about to dive back into the bushes. Well, hang on a minute. That sounds really interesting, but I'm in the middle of Kanashi Boy.
So, ditch that and start this. You won't regret it.
Normally I wouldn't finish this. I would finish the series I'm on before starting another, but got me very interested in Sakaru, I must say.
Wait right there.
He's gone before I can open my mouth. I'm starting to get used to this routine, so I just wait patiently. He's back within seconds. That was quick. Where do you keep this stuff?
I could tell you, but...
Did you have to kill me?
Whoa, slow down, JJ. It's a bit soon to be finishing each other's sentences.
JJ?
Jesse James? McMurphy told me all about him. Fastest draw in the Wild West.
Suddenly, he's leaping around with pretend paw guns, pew-pewing until he's been shot and acts out an elaborate staggerfall death scenario. Then he's back up on his feet in a heartbeat, pointing at the comic he's placed in my hands. Yeah, it's universally agreed that it's the grossest manga out there. Kibbles grins as though that's a positive thing. I look at the glossy black cover and feel my interest peak. This doesn't look like the sort of thing I'd usually pick up at the comic store, but I'm certainly intrigued. Great! You're gonna love the bit where Kira's mom stabs out her own eyes because... Kibbles, spoilers! Oh, who cares about spoilers? It feels totally different when you see it in the artwork. I don't want you to tell me any part of the story, Kibbles. It doesn't matter if it feels different. Okay, but just remember one thing. Kibbles, if this is a spoiler, I'm getting very upset. The circle ends back where it began. Kibbles! Can't tell if this was an actual spoiler, but I still feel indignant. He holds up his paws defensively. What, you said it yourself? It's a lucky guess. What does it mean? It's a secret password for Sakura fans to help identify each other. The mangaka made it up himself. Like the Mason's secret handshake? Yeah, probably. I don't know what the Masons are. Do you, Kibbles? It's like a boy band or something? Close enough. Should we make our own secret handshake? You know, in case someone tries to infiltrate our manga club? Good idea, Kibs. We don't want anyone getting their mittens on our intelligence. That's what I was thinking. Just hold out your hand in a fist formation and I do this. Kibbles has splayed his claws as if he's going to scratch me. He pushes his metacarpal pad onto my knuckles. Feels really strange. It's great, Kibs. Really unique. Yes, so, anyway, I got a lot of stuff to be getting on with. Important business stuff. I'll have to catch you later, human. I feel a bit taken aback by the sudden change in mood. Okay, Kibbles. I'll get on with this manga then and we can discuss it soon. Yeah, sure. See ya. Sit down on the tree stump to get it with my new comic when I hear. Fill your hands, you son of a gun. Look up to see the Kibbles has crept around the far side of the trees to ambush me. I spring in action, falling to my knees behind my tree stump. Wouldn't shoot an unarmed cowboy, would you yellow-bellied snake? Momentarily lowers his paws. What? I seize my opportunity. Pew pew! Gotcha! Shoot my finger guns at him. Nuh-uh, I dodged. Kibbles jumps into a roll and shoots his paw guns at me. No, you got me. I can't believe this is how it all ends. Grab my chest and stagger onto the floor, doing a very good performance if I do say so myself. I think I did. That's what you get when you mess with the sass slinger. I dart my head up. The what? Oh, nothing. What'd you just call yourself? I didn't say anything. The sass slinger? No, I don't know what you're talking about. You're boring me, human. I'm going now. I mean, that's really cool. I want a name, too. I get off the floor and dust myself down. How about the sass slinger and his sidekick, the, banter bomb? The banter bomb? Yeah, it's really embarrassing. Okay, well, think about it and get back to you, Kibbles. This has been fun so far. See you later, Bants. Blows the imaginary gun smoke from each of his little paws and swaggers off into his bush. I feel childishly happy. Oh boy. Alright, let's do some research. Maybe. I guess the only one we can do. That's interesting. Alright, this is... Huh, okay. Spending the day examining the cats to make sure they're in good shape. Muffin's a little grumpy today, presumably because she's an old lady and she's just been woken up. Otherwise, she's doing well. So I place him in her crate, I can't resist doing the human-cat equivalent calculation. She's 18, so if 1 feline year equals 7 human years, that makes her the grand old age of 126. I know it's nonsense, but impressive anyways. Smokey's been quite vocal this morning, so I grab him next. His hair is a lot more luscious than it used to be. Can't help but run my hand through it. Although it's no longer growing, I can feel how thick it is. Apart from that happy consequence, there doesn't seem to be any other side effects from the drug we tried on him, which is a relief. Further examination shows him to be very healthy indeed, a little bigger and heavier than last time I weighed him. All his vitals are normal within an acceptable range. Give him a small treat and he plods off happily. Who's next then? I suppose I have a free minute? Startled by the voice and turned to see the quiet chocolate-brown cat from the forest has entered without me noticing. Oh, B, you came. Well, I was invited. Of course, will you let me check you over? I'd like to update your details in the catalog. Okay. She leaps up onto the counter gracefully, and I begin the examination. Very good condition, aren't you? You say so, Turntail. What do you call me that? She ignores the question. Turntail means coward, doesn't it? Journal the last assistant left says that you called them Turntail too. I've read about it. What do we do to deserve being called cowards? You tell me. She looks almost sad. I've racked my brain since you first said it, and I really can't imagine. Continue taking her vitals, keeping myself busy to ease the tension between us. You're taking too long. I remove the stethoscope from my ears. Sorry, B, are you in a rush to get somewhere? Can't quite hide the sarcasm in my voice. Not this. I mean with you joining the dots, working it out. Working what out? The connection? Wait to understand. Between us? Becoming more irritated with me, so I try to pull it back by being ultra calm. And what would that be? It's like a red rag to a bull. Well, clearly not our IQ, mastermind. I feel stung. I can't understand why she's so upset with me. It's an awkward silence when I finish checking her over. Sorry. Voice is no more than a whisper. I beg your pardon? It's not your fault. I just get so frustrated. Whenever there's a glimmer of hope, it's snuffed out before any progress is made. Although I don't understand, I don't want to interrupt her. She looks so earnest. I've been patient for so long, I'm beginning to forget. Forget what? Time is so... It's so... We mustn't waste it. She looks so small and lost. Look, B, I'm really sorry if I did or said something to get us off on the wrong foot. It could be a real shame for us not to get along. We could be good allies. Important. Huh? The word I lost. Time is important. Yes, it is. See, we can agree. Maybe you and I could sit down together and talk about that a little more. Maybe we could. B leaps off the examination table and saunters towards the door. I'll let you know, Turntail. She's gone before I can reply. Yes, new one looks. So we only have one here, too. Okay, so we have to do... Professor's laptop. Professor keeps all the data on a closed network. I have a clearance to access a few files, but most of the info is encrypted and inaccessible to anyone but the professor himself. Good thing, then, he left his laptop unattended before going on a trip to the mainland. He's going to collect some specific components for some of the experiments we're running soon. Or so he says, so I'm holding down the fort. When I open it, I see the laptop is running the same technology as the catalog. It's the only working computer that I've seen on the island. It's password protected as I expected, but that's not a problem because I have a trick up my sleeve. Kibbles, over here, work your magic. Kibbles has been playing with what looks like a rubber band under the professor's desk, leaps up and stares at the screen with huge black pupils.
It's a Unix system. I know this. Okay, so you have to use an OS exploit and a pen drive to boot straight to desktop.
Okay, slow down. I'm not good with this stuff. After some fiddling and impatient instructions from Kibbles, we reach the desktop. The professor's desktop background is a picture of him surrounded by cats. Should look cute, but it's strangely unnatural. We search the files. Kibbles says we can get past the authentication process. We still need to figure out how to decrypt them. Sets a process going to try to work out the encryption key. While that's working in the background, I take a look at the rest of the computer to see what else I can find. How is he doing this with paws? Find a folder with pictures of all the cats in it. They look like they were taken from a distance with a powerful zoom lens.
Caught me mid-sneeze. Not very professional.
Why do you think he has these photos?
Well, I don't think he took them. He's only interested in cats as research subjects.
Really? Then how do you explain this desktop background?
Dunno.
The computer makes a noise. The program has finished trying to decrypt the files. What is it?
Couldn't get past the encryption. We can only get access to one file, and it's an old one.
Look what he's referring to. Oh, but it's a good one.
Yeah, what's it say?
Read the document out loud. Observations on Project Felix. Day 74. Subject's ears are becoming pointed. Hearing range has expanded to 60 kilohertz. Subject appears to be developing a reflective layer behind the retina. Eyesight in darkness has improved by 50% since last measured. Subject's field of vision has expanded by approximately 200 degrees. Body hair is becoming more dense. Longer hairs around the mouth and eyebrows have begun to grow faster and appear to carry sensory information. Attempts to reverse the changes have so far proved fruitless. Tomorrow we will carry out further invasive procedures. Day 75. Administered a combination of animalglycides, glucose, and the chemical extracted from the feral cat's adrenal glands. Initial results are promising. Subject appears to be in acute pain at all times. Day 76. Subject has perished overnight due to sudden heart failure, potentially as a result of increased stress. Postmortem to be carried out at 1700 hours.
Whoa, that's dark.
Yes, it is.
It'll be a good thing you never told the professor you're catified.
I nod and download the file to the pen drive as Kibbles instructed. I close the laptop. That's enough for one day, I think. Kibbles would know how to use Linux. What a nerd. I bet he uses Arch Linux too. You had a lovely nap. Had a busy morning, so I'm rewarding myself with a longer lunch break. I used the extra time to return to what has become my favorite reading spot in the forest, to finish Sakaru. Kibbles was right, it's fantastic. I'm enjoying it so much more than I expected to. I'm not usually a fan of manga that is excessively bloody. My tastes tend to be more benign. This was an exception. The gore was so relevant to the individual characters that the overarching story that it felt entirely justified. Read the first page, close the issue, and exhale loudly. What an ending. Hardly believe the main character died. It's too sad and yet completely authentic. Can't see how anybody could have escaped a situation like that. My thoughts are interrupted by the sound of rustling nearby. I open my eyes. Hey, Kibbles. Kibbles tumbles out of the bushes again. He's holding an adorable little satchel which is shaped like a penguin.
Hello, Gross5. Have you read Sakaru then?
Yeah, just finished it now. It was so disturbing, but in the best possible way.
Yeah, the body horror bits are epic.
You want it back? I hand Kibbles the comic book. He examines it closely, clearly looking for any signs of damage or wear. After a while, he seems satisfied. He opens the satchel and carefully places it inside. At the same time, he takes out 3 more comics and presents them to me.
Should try these now. They're on another level. If you want to be taken seriously, you've got to read them.
I struggle to understand who I should be trying to be taken seriously by. I give up. Okay, great. What do you have for me?
First, this is Hokurashi. It's about a kid who finds a puppet that lets him control his parents. Then this one's called Hungry Sparrow. The artwork is sick. That's the character called the Icebreaker. He's a huge polar bear. And this one is Kuchio Subume. It's probably my favorite.
Oh wow, Kuchio Subume.
You've heard of it?
I've read it.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Well... Uh-oh. Big choice. Don't pretend. We have to... You shouldn't mask your power level around other weebs. They will find out. To be honest, it was a bit much for me. Kibbles suddenly looks very suspicious. He reminds me of my lectures in uni when I answered a question wrong, but they didn't want to come right out and say that I was wrong.
In what way much?
I think it's a bit relentless, the gore.
It's not relentless, it's integral.
Really? I felt the scene where Keita eats that bug or that slug was just gratuitous. Totally the wrong place for something so gut-churning.
What? Keita never eats a slug. You must be thinking of something else.
No, it's right after Miharu brings her the fruit basket. She opens a banana and the slug is inside.
I remember the fruit basket, but no slug.
Pulls the comic out from its protective sleeve and starts looking through the pages.
Here's the fruit basket, and then it goes straight into the train scene. No slug, see?
Oh, I see what the problem is. This is the shorter version. Slug scene must be in the extended edition. Ooh. We got one up on him.
Extended version?
Yeah, I've got it back at camp. I can lend it to you if you'd like. Swapsies. Kibbles looks upset for a moment, but quickly composes himself.
Well, I've heard the extended version is way too long. That's probably why you didn't enjoy it. Pacing is much better on the standard.
You're probably right. You have better knowledge on this stuff than me. Looks super happy and prances around me for a few seconds, catching imaginary insects. Okay, Kibbles, can I still borrow Hungry Sparrow and the Hokurashi? He pulls himself together.
Oh, so you haven't read those?
Not yet. I've heard Hungry Sparrow is excellent.
I'll say nothing until you've read them. We can compare notes then.
Kibbles hands me the comics and packs Kuchio Subume away. Thanks, Kibbles. I'll bring him back as soon as I'm finished.
See that you do.
Kibbles disappears backwards into the bushes again, never breaking eye contact. Maybe he lives in that bush? Perhaps it's like the TARDIS? That's how you know it's a British game. If it wasn't obvious before. We'll do one more romance, and then we'll do those two. Yeah. That was a pretty short one. It's been a few days since Kibbles lent me his comics. Although I devoured them on the first night, I've been so busy with work I haven't had time to return them yet. I'm dying to talk to him about them, so today, cleared the decks enough to spend a couple hours with him. Waiting on our usual spot when the bushes nearby begin to rustle. Kibbles, you there? No answer. Brought your comics back. Still nothing. I know he's there. He must be playing a game, so I decided to play along. Oh, what a shame Kibbles isn't here. I so wanted to ask him about Hungry Sparrow. He's so clever. He would know why Nyoko broke the mirror at the end. Kibbles falls out of the bushes.
Obviously, she's just clumsy.
Really? I figured it was a metaphor for her fractured self-image.
A metaphor?
Yes, because her heart was broken while Ryoji fell in battle?
Of course, that goes without saying. Just feel that interpretation is kind of tired.
Really? What would your interpretation be then?
I think it might be too complex for you. Let's talk about something else.
Alright, what do you want to talk about?
I'm starving. There's no proper food around here.
I eye the plump British short hair skeptically. Got a tin of tuna back at base camp if you want it. I could easily...
No, that's not proper food. Gross, I'm talking about proper food. Chocolate, crisps, pizza.
Yeah, it's definitely British. Crisps, come on. You had any of those? No, Kibbles, I do not.
But you know how to get them.
What are you implying, Kibbles? I can't just walk into the mess tent and steal armfuls of food in the middle of the day.
Exactly. Meet me outside the mess tent tonight at sundown. Bring a backpack and a torch.
Oh, yeah? No, Kibbles, I don't like the sound of this.
You don't help me, I'll just have to do it myself.
You can't carry a flashlight. I shudder at the thought of Kibbles being let loose in the mess tent without supervision. Okay, Kibbles, I'll meet you, but only if you promise to be super stealthy.
My stealth abilities are second to none. I'm a black belt in karate.
I really hope so, Kibs, because we're gonna have to be super ninjas tonight.
Dank.
Of course, my favorite time of night when the sky is bright and blue. I've come to the mess tent a little before sundown, hoping to apprehend Kibbles in case he tries stealthy barge in without me. Finally spot him stalking in the distance, using his tail to brush away paw prints he's leaving behind. He's taking this so seriously, my heart sinks as soon as I realize he'll be disappointed when I have to explain we can't actually rob the mess tent of all its treats. Hey, Kibs.
Senpai.
We could probably just end the stream right there, right? Yeah? Ooh, notice me, Senpai. Senpai, I have to restrain myself from doing an air grab.
Just want to say it's an honor to raid alongside you tonight.
Yes, well, about that, Kibs.
Promise I won't let you down.
Oh no, why is he being so nice? Actually, I don't think this is such a good idea after all.
What? What are you talking about?
I was thinking maybe it would be a step too far to raid the mess tent for spoils.
You joking? You've changed your mind? You think I'm not up to the task? Is that it?
It looks so hurt, I feel really crummy. It's not you, Kibbles. I would gladly heat up a pizza and make a salad to go with it, but I don't think that's a good idea to take any more than that. Kibbles looks at me with disbelief.
Did you just say the word salad?
I did. I'm sorry, but this is a really bad idea, Kibbles. Not only could you get me fired, but you could get sick if you ate lots of sugar and flour, and I don't want to be responsible for that.
Seems I was wrong about you. I thought you were heroic. I thought you were cool.
This really strikes a nerve. I'm not sure what to do. I don't know whether to listen to my head or my heart. Obviously, we're going to raid. Kibbles called me Senpai. I cannot let that be for nothing. I have to unleash the power hidden behind my secret dark eye and show the world that I'm a true ninja master. I can be the next Hokage. Kibbles, I am heroic and I am cool. Very cool, let's raid. Kibbles does a little happy dance and fires invisible paw guns into the air.
You sure everyone's gone to bed?
Yes, except Zane. He's doing rounds. He's on the other side of the island right now, which gives us about 15 minutes.
That's so cool. It's like a proper real-life loot run.
You have to keep your voice down, Kibs. The marigolds are doing their cleaning rounds in that tent just over there.
So stop talking, because we now only have 14 minutes and 32 seconds.
I've crept into the kitchen area, which is easy as the whole thing was an open plan. Make a start by grabbing a pizza from the freezer and putting it into the microwave to cook. Gross. Microwave pizza. You clearly don't own an air fryer. Gross 5. Ridiculous. Next, I get the store cabinet keys from their usual place on the hook next to the sink.
Security's not exactly high-tech.
Doesn't need to be. We're on an island. We all get fed. Who would want to steal food? Duh. My backpack is overspilling with loot and I'm struggling to zip it up. Point taken, but this is different. This isn't real food. This is the monthly treat ration.
Monthly? Then what do you eat all day?
Well, fish and vegetables mostly.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that, Gross 5.
What?
Never mind, hurry up. We have 6 minutes and 47 seconds left.
As if on cue, the microwave pings. I grab the hot boxes and we're off. You just tossed cardboard in there too? Maybe that's why we're not so smart. We've probably microwaved and consumed plastics at some point.
This your place, huh?
Sitting on my bed, finishing the last of the pizza. Yep, this is my crib.
Never say that word again.
Cover my embarrassment by tipping the contents of my rucksack onto the bed between Kibbles and me. His eyes widen at the sight of our plunder.
Oh man, there's even more than I thought.
Stuffs his mouth with marshmallows and jelly beans. There are little tears in his eyes.
It's been so long. It's the best night of my life. Senpai.
Kibbles and I gorge ourselves on junk food until we can barely move.
Thank you for today, Gross 5. I really needed this.
I don't feel so good. I think we've thrown up at least once in every chapter. We throw up in McMurphy's chapter off stream, the first mission, or date.
Oh no, did you eat too much?
I clamber out of my tent, hoping that some fresh air will stop me from feeling sick. By the time I return to the tent, Kibbles is gone, and so is the loot. Thief. We still have one more. Okay. We'll do one more romance, then we'll do other stuff, maybe? Yeah, might as well. Haven't seen Kibbles since our pizza party the other night. Just want to make sure he didn't overdo it once he left my tent. I approached the clearing near the bushes he likes to hide in. Kibbles, you there? No answer. Kibbles? The bush sneezes. I know you're in there, Kibbles. You just sneezed. Still no answer. Kibbles, if you don't come out here, I'm coming in to get you. Kibbles lazily rolls out of the bushes. I like Kibbles because I can picture this. I can picture Kibbles in my head. And it's ridiculous. I want to play with Kibbles. With like a laser pointer. But it would look like a Gundam or something. Otherwise he wouldn't go for it.
Oh, hi, Gross 5. I didn't hear you coming.
Kibbles, are you avoiding me?
No, I've just been really busy.
I pull a sticky sweet wrapper out of his long fur. Yes, I can see that. Is everything okay? I've been worried about you. You left so quickly the other night.
Well, I figured the night was over with you about to lose your guts outside.
Be pleased to know that that I was not, in fact, sick. Yeah, we're a liar. It did feel terrible all night, though. What were you thinking?
What were you thinking, you mean? I happen to know my limits.
Except you were sick on the way home, weren't you?
How'd you know about that?
I didn't until just now.
It was worth it. We should do that again.
Not with me, you won't. That's what's been keeping you away.
I'm working on my project.
Project? What's that?
Just my latest comic.
Comic? You made one?
Yeah, I've been working on it for ages. You're the first person I've told about it.
Oh, I'm honored. Tell me more. What's it about? Can I see it?
It's about a lot of stuff. You can have it, actually.
Really? Kibbles hands me a stack of papers covered with crude markings, held together with tape and staples. Oh, it's nice.
It's just a first draft. It'll be worth loads to the right collector.
Yeah, the artwork is quite avant-garde.
I was worried that being a cat would limit my artistic ability, but obviously I'm a savant.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, well, it has a unique smell, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to get pens and paints out here. I had to get pretty creative.
Something tells me I'd rather not know too much about his creative techniques. Thanks for this, Kibbles. I'll read it as soon as I get back to base.
Yeah, well, it's pretty complex. You might not get everything on your first read-through.
I look at the scratchings, paw prints, and splatters that make up the pages of this rare first edition. No doubt. Maybe once I've read it, we can go through it together?
Yeah, okay. You'll probably need my help.
Right, I'll go make a start then. Thanks again, Kibbles. That's really sweet. So you know you're getting too powerful when you start making your own fan works. I wonder if they're shipping it, and I bet there is. You had a lovely nap. I should take a lovely drink. Look at that, 75% through the antidote. Ooh-wee. Research, then recon. Today's the day Mr. Bumble gets all clear. He's a tough old boy. I'm looking forward to giving him a cuddle. Professor lifts the flap of my tent, pokes his head inside.
Grass 5, may I have a word?
Of course, sir. Lets the flap fall shut. I'm not sure what time it is, but it's still dark in my little shelter. Quickly pull my lab coat over my pajamas, make my way outside to find the professor staring out to sea. Something wrong, Professor?
No, well, yes, I suppose something is wrong. Mr. Bumble's getting worse, Cross 5. He's taken a turn in the night.
Oh my goodness, he was doing so well. I'm gonna recommend we release him this week.
With older cats, this can be expected. A sudden relapse is common, and they become overwhelmed so quickly.
I can't believe it. Is something I did or didn't do? Did I miss something?
No, Grass 5, I trust you've done your absolute best for him, my dear, but I'm afraid he is in a lot of discomfort now.
His words cut like a knife. The thought of any animal being in pain is heartbreaking. I've grown very attached to Mr. Bumble in the time I've been caring for him. I don't remember who that is at all. Was it the cat that had too much hair?
We did a lot of good on this island, Grass 5, and it can truly be a joy to live with these beautiful animals and ensure they are well and happy. We also have to do a lot of things we don't want to do, unpleasant things, you understand? We always have the best interests of the cats in mind.
I know it's coming, but I hope I'm wrong.
Mr. Bumble may live for a while yet, Grass 5, but his every waking moment will be full of pain and suffering. It's times like this we must think about what is best for our subjects.
Professor takes a deep breath.
Mr. Bumble will have to be euthanized. There's no two ways about that. Thought it might be nicer for him if you were the one to do it. Say your goodbyes, stroke him, make him comfortable as be, and take away his pain with one quick injection of catamine.
I'm frozen. Don't want to answer.
You don't have to agree. I don't want to give you the choice. Be euthanized tonight either way. Would you like to be there?
So we can take his pain away. You can be there, but don't be responsible for his death. And I don't want to be there. It's too upsetting. It's one. I feel like it's one of the first two. It's probably the right choice here. I'd like to be there. I don't want to be the one responsible, though.
Say no more, Grass 5. I completely understand. Would you like to say goodbye?
Think about it for a second. As much as I don't want to see him in any pain, I'd like to comfort him in his final moments. Yes, please.
Okay, let's get this over with.
Professor lifts Mr. Bumble out of his crate, a bit taken aback by how well he looks. I'd brace myself for a different picture entirely. Grateful he doesn't look as sick as he is. Probably because the professor's a lying asshole.
Let's be quick and painless. How would you like to hold him as he goes?
I nod. I can't muster any words. Professor hands Mr. Bumble to me, and as I cradle him, I feel him begin to purr. As the professor begins preparing the lethal injection, I take this moment to comfort Mr. Bumble and whisper some reassuring words, even though I know he can't understand me. It's okay, my friend. Nothing bad will happen to you. Liar! Surprised to hear the familiar voice of Trixie coming from the shadows in the corner of the lab. Can't believe this. I trusted you. I cough away the sob in my throat. Can't answer Trixie without raising suspicion. I defended you when people called you a traitor. I believed in you, but you're just like him, aren't you? There's nothing wrong with that cat. Mr. Bumble's as healthy as I am. Been well for a while, haven't you, Mr. Bumble? It's getting worse every day. It's time to do the kindest thing possible for you, even though it breaks my heart. I hope Trixie understands that I'm talking to her. She scoffs. It's fooled you too. Thought you were smarter than that. Can you not see what's going on here? Professor turns to me glumly, the injection in his hand.
You said your goodbyes?
I instinctively start backing away from the professor, holding the cat to my chest protectively.
Perhaps it's time to put Mr. Bumble in his crate and I'll take things from here.
I can't watch this. I I feel like if we do this, we're gonna... Is this gonna be a bad end? Oh, I really don't want to screw up and have to redo a whole bunch of stuff. No. He seems so well and he's purring. Okay, so he takes him regardless. Okay. I was not reading through that because I was like ready to go, but hit quit and go back because I learned that you can do that. Okay, but yeah. Popper scoops Bumble away from me with one arm, and before I can protest, I see the syringe disappear and Mr. Bumble's long fur.
There now, all done. Wasn't that easy?
I leave the tent determined to find Trixie and make things good with her. She's nowhere to be seen, so I leave a little note at the entrance of her cave before I go back to bed. Well, that could have gone better. I suspect the ending of this game is going to be kind of dark. Let's look at Kibble's gift. Hopefully that one will be a little nicer. Lying in my tent looking at the comic Kibble's made. It's a really heartwarming thing. He's put a lot of work into it. As I'm looking, I notice something behind the colors. Looks like Kibble's might have painted over something he found. Just make out a signature in the lower right corner. The more I squint, the more I believe it's Professor Popper's. I wonder what this used to be. I suppose it's possible to clean off the paint and see what's underneath, but I can't bring myself to do it. There's something at the lab I can use to see without destroying the artwork. I arrive at the lab just after dark when I'm guaranteed to have the place to myself. There's a portable x-ray machine in the back. We use it to examine the bones of the cats after changing their diet. It has a light bulb attached to it so we can see the x-rays properly. It's this piece of equipment that I'm hoping will reveal the secrets under Kibble's work of art. I lay the comic out on top of the light box. I can see the image quite clearly under the paint. It's a letter.
Dear Jonathan, firstly I would like to wish yourself and Martha a very happy new year. I understand your concerns. The recent closure of our Countage of Cat Farm may have indeed negatively impacted your business. I assure you this decision was not taken lightly. I'd like to take the time to personally thank you and your family for your help in providing us with cats over the years. From your last letter, it's clear you don't fully understand our reasoning. Traditional methods of farming cats, as you pointed out, have been perfectly acceptable for many years. However, recent advances in technology that our team have employed mean we're able to produce cats on a far greater scale, much more quickly than using traditional methods. Our offshore cat facility can produce 100 cats in the time it would take you to rear 10. I would, however, like to repeat our offer of a job on the offshore nursery. Your family has been an asset to this company for many years. I'd like to show you loyalty and appreciation. Please do consider this offer generously. Warm wishes and season's greeting from Professor Popper and team.
An offshore cat breeding facility? We have an island overrun with cats right here. Why would we need... Before I can even form the question in my mind, I know what the answer is. This island is the offshore facility. Professor Popper was obviously keeping it well under wraps. Look back at Kibble's sweet picture and wonder how on earth he had taken this letter in his possession. Slowly another thought begins to force its way into my consciousness. What if Jonathan and Martha accepted the offer that was made to them and came to work on this island? What if they brought their son with them? Could this be Kibble's parents? I decide to respect Kibble's privacy and keep this information to myself. He may not remember any of this, and I don't want to distress him. Yeah, we have one more heart to do recon with. Stealth mission. There's a trapdoor in the floor of the lab that is completely off limits. I spied the professor going in and out a couple of times, but he always keeps it locked, and it's never mentioned. He uses a keycard to enter, but as far as I'm aware, there's no copies. Strange, though, having a trapdoor in a tent, let alone a high-tech security. Can't help wondering what on earth could be down there. I don't know if it's the catification or this environment, but my curiosity has really started to get the better of me recently. I spent some time ruminating and have finally formulated a plan on how to get past the trapdoor and into whatever's beneath it. This is more than a one-person job. I need an accomplice. I made my way down to the beach to a familiar sight at this time of day. Snooty Booty, McMurphy, and Kibbles are reclining in the afternoon sun. Gang's all here.
Can't you count?
Can you count? There's only 3 of us. What do you mean, literally, Kibbles? It's good to catch you. I need a willing volunteer to help me on my mission.
Gross5, my dear. Charmed as always I am to see you. Really do have a peculiar skill for interrupting one's beauty sleep. Now, if you could just move slightly to your left, you're casting a shadow.
Shift my position and lower my expectations. This may not go as smoothly as I'd hoped. How about it, Murph? Fancy going on an adventure?
Ah, Carter, you must know cats a bit better than that by now. You're going to have to give us all the details before you get any of us to agree to anything.
Okay, how about this for intrigue? I've discovered a trapdoor in the ground in the main lab.
Yeah, what about it?
So you know about it already?
Obviously, it's not exactly hidden.
So what's down there?
Don't know. Don't care.
Only the professor goes down there, and you can't blame us for not wanting to keep him company. Not that we'd be welcome.
Oh, come on, guys. Aren't any of you slightly curious? I already have a plan figured out. All I need is someone smart, stealthy, and skillful to be my partner in crime.
Ah, Carter, there are many things I'll do for you, but going in the professor's territory is not one of them.
Surprised at you, McMurphy. I thought you at least would be lured by the thrill of the unknown.
Known my eye, whatever the professor is hiding down there can't be good, that much we do know.
I don't even know why you asked us. How can a bunch of cats help you?
Glad you asked, Kibbles. In brief, I already have worked out that the door is operated by an automated mechanism. The boss walks through the door, it closes and locks behind him instantly. Almost instantly. It's your job to prevent that mechanism from making contact.
Obviously, but how?
Sneak into the lab in my backpack. When the professor is exiting the trapdoor, I will distract him while you make a break for it. Using your epic weapon as a tool, prevent the door from fully sealing.
Oh yeah, my weapon? And that would be?
Your pebble. Kibbles looks as he's about to scarp her, and I know I have to make my move. I open my rucksack. In you pop, I need to be the bravest cat of all. McMurphy flashes me a wink and nudges Kibbles forwards.
Valiant and brave as ever, Kibbles. You're better than man than me.
Kibbles gulps and slinks into my backpack. I head back down to the lab before he can change his mind. I'm glad Snooty Booty was there for moral support. Gotta be as quiet as you can. A muffled voice comes from inside my bag.
Hey, Gross5, your job is really boring.
Kibbles, my job isn't waiting around for people to go through trapdoors all day.
What exactly is your job?
Well, it varies from day to day. Most of the time, I'm looking after the cats. The friendly tabby called Oscar meows from his cage as if he knows what we're talking about. Other days, I might receive a delivery of samples and have to run extensive tests and log the information.
Hey, Gross5, your job's really boring.
Shh. I cut him off as the trapdoor begins to open, and I give my backpack an elbow as the professor emerges.
Oh, good day, Gross5. Beginning on the new samples, are we? Always wanted to get a new start.
Oh, yes, sir. I actually wanted to ask your opinion on this one. I walk the professor over to my workstation. Kibbles has already crept out of my bag and darted through the trapdoor just before it closes. Actually, I want to see what you've done. I misread the 8 for a 3. Now it all makes sense. Sorry to waste your time, Professor.
No worries, Gross5. Say, may I ask when the last time you visited the optician?
Just before I came to the island, everything was perfectly normal, sir.
Jolly good, just checking.
Professor pushes his specs onto the bridge of his nose and wafts out of the room. I breathe a sigh of relief and run over to Kibbles. He's wedged the small rock inside the rim so I can just pull the heavy door open. Well done, comrade. I knew you were the cat for the job. I'm a little worried about what we might find down here. Kibbles looks proud in spite of his fear.
Victory or death?
I just step down to join him, leaving the pebble wedging the door open above our heads. Oh, the music got really grim. Immediately, I can make out a staircase in the gloom, taking us further underground. By the time we reach the last step, the temperature has changed noticeably, and I realize my teeth are chattering.
Don't be scared, Gross5. I'll protect you.
Thank you, Kibbles. I fumble along the wall for a light switch. As soon as the lights come up, I cannot help but gasp. In front of us are a set of steel cabinets. The light glints off them and forces my eyes into a squint. This place reminds me of something, but I cannot think of what. It's a morgue. The drawers of the cabinets are neatly labeled, each explaining what is contained within. Gallbladder. Claw, front, left. Pituitoid gland. Hundreds of these, rows upon row. I open the drawer labeled claw, rear, right. It's what I feared would find. Boxed claw samples, each labeled with a name, number, and some notes about that particular subject. Every component that makes up a cat is laid neatly out in front of us. As a scientist, I'm used to seeing animal parts, but there's something different about this place. Sheer volume is overwhelming. Cat after butchered cat, it's horrifying. I feel sick. I know what this place reminds me of. It's a morgue. I already said that. Why are we such awful scientists? Good God.
The hell is this? What are they doing to the cats that die here?
Wonder if they're even waiting for them to die, but I keep my thoughts to myself. They're clearly not, because Professor Pauper murdered Mr. Bumbles earlier. Look through the notes that Pauper has left on top of the cabinet. Looks like they harvest these from the cats that die during testing so they can study the effects of various compounds on each of the specimens. Neither Kibbles nor I feel curious anymore. We decide to close this particular door behind us. We still don't know what they're testing. This issue of Kanashi Boy is super tattered. What has Kibbles been doing with it? Using it as a scratch post? I grab the mini hot iron and some sticky tape and get to work neatening it. I iron each page flat, folding the bent over corners, lining up the tears and patching them. Work slowly and meticulously. It's surprisingly therapeutic. After about an hour, I sit back and admire my work. Quite proud of the end result. Not quite good as new, but definitely carefully pre-loved. I reread the issue delicately, appreciating every flaw. Think I should name this one Kintsugi Boy. I think that's the... Isn't that like a bastardization of the thing where they repair things, like the Japanese art of repairing things with gold? I think that's what that is. It's a very heavy reference for our rather unintelligent scientist to make. Assuming that is what it was going for. I'm sitting outside my tent, trying my best to make sense of Kibble's comic. I'm desperately hoping for something, anything that I understand enough to talk to him about. It's no use, just some giving up. I see Kibbles approaching from the forest. Kibbles, what are you doing here?
I figured you'd have finished my comic by now and you'd be ready to go through it with me.
Oh, sure, it was complicated, like you said.
I knew you wouldn't get it.
Okay, I'll be honest, I didn't really understand very much at all.
Start at the beginning then, shall we?
Kibbles sits down next to me and flips the comic open on the first page.
It's semi-autobiographical. My memoirs, if you will. From what I can remember anyway, this page is about my parents.
Kibbles points to a pair of red paw prints.
It's my earliest memory. My mom and dad sitting together while I played in the garden.
Turns the page. This one just has one red paw on it.
When he was tight so, Mom worked a lot of overtime. It's just me and Dad most of the time. This next bit is about when I started high school.
Page is chaotic, bright smudges and scratches over every inch.
I didn't really fit in at school.
Kibbles gestures to a page with a big scratch from top to bottom.
It's the day where Troy pushed me around. Look at this bit.
A thick black substance covers the paper. I'm worried about what it might signify.
It's my happiest memory. Sitting alone by myself in my room, reading manga.
Kibbles flips to a more colorful page.
It's when Dad started taking me to the comic book store after school. It's like a whole new life for me. Lost interest in the commercial stuff. Started to feel real mainstream to me. Until I discovered manga. It's much more in my level. Way more intellectual.
Kibbles turns page after page, explaining the significance of the manga he had read and how they'd shaped him and helped him escape from his problems. Kibbles, I think this is great the way you're opening up to me. It's a real privilege.
Suppose.
I've thought about it lots and wondered if I should ask. Were you originally human? I mean, were you catified? Clearly. He's lowered the comic and looking at me with an expression of incredulity.
Can't believe you just asked me that.
Sorry, you don't have to answer.
You're actually joking? This whole comic is about my transition and stuff. What were you reading? If I wasn't originally human, how would I have a manga collection? And that would make an otaku proud. How would I be able to read even?
What? Why are we so dumb? Yeah, of course I knew. I just mean I was asking more about how it happened. How, when, where, that stuff. His eyes fixed back on the page.
Can't tell you.
Too soon?
Well, obviously not. We're looking at my entire existence here.
Feel a little foolish.
Just can't remember. Only bits, but it keeps getting less. Like fading in the sun.
Feels frustration and directs us back to the safety of reading. It's okay, this is great. It documents everything. Finally turns to the last spread, the one he'd been avoiding. Those pages were stuck together. Pries them apart carefully so as not to tear anything. It is a type of collage. To use bits of chewed up plants to stick down various objects. Amongst the colorful markings, there's a panel for my copy of Kanashi Boy, some sweet wrappers, and in the center, the unremarkable pebble, the one that Kibbles claimed he was looking at for the first night I met him in the clearing. There's a blue and green paw print on it. Kibbles, this is beautiful. This page is about you. Me?
Yeah, well, us.
Us? What about us?
You and me. Our story.
You wrote a story about us?
No, the story that we are, that I want. Ugh.
Take your time, Kibbles. Count to 10. Use your words.
I'm not a kid. Don't patronize me.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I was trying to help.
It's just confusing. I don't know what to say because I don't know what to feel.
About what?
But this.
Kibbles angrily jabs the comic with his claw till it hooks into the paper and he can't unstick himself. Do you need help, or I really don't want to be patronizing? Kibbles finally tears his paw free and looks me directly in the eyes and blurts out one word.
Love.
Not even sure I fully heard him correctly, but I'm frightened to ask him to repeat himself, so I take a punt. Love?
Maybe.
Kibbles, I may have been a very clever scientist. We are not. That is not something that we are. We are the opposite of a very clever scientist. But I can't read minds. You're gonna have to tell me what it is you're trying to say.
Maybe I have love feelings, possibly. For you, I think.
Oh, I have love feelings for you too. Well, that's good.
It is?
Yes, because I might have love feelings for you, possibly. For you, I think too.
You might?
I do.
So do I. Definitely, I think.
Kibbles looks like he doesn't quite know what to do next, so I bend down and we share an affectionate nuzzle. Purrs loudly and then bites my arms and runs away. Oi, where do you think you're going? And I chase him through the forest. We did it. We've successfully romanced another cat. Or maybe vice versa. Research. Yes. Okay. Yep. We're almost done, I think. Quite excited about today. I was very surprised when Professor Pauper told me a few days ago he's giving me Thursday off. I'm supposed to have Sundays as a rest day. There's never really time off, as someone always needs something done. The professor was quite categorical about it.
I don't want to see you anywhere near this research facility. Ms. Marigold will prepare you enough food for the day. Go visit some of the places we've been during our fieldwork or something. There's never enough time to fully explore. Tired researchers are sloppy researcher. Recharge your batteries.
Must admit I had a pang of suspicion, but was eager to have a whole day to myself, so I didn't hesitate. So here I am, heading out to the far eastern side of the island to have a closer look at the blue-colored moss that grows on the moist cliffs overhanging the sea. It's part of the island least populated by cats. I wonder why. Cats hate moss, it's known. Decided to take my breakfast with me and sit down on some small rocks just outside of our residential area to enjoy the quiet. That smells good. Goodness, Bee, you startled me. I thought I was alone. You're very much alone, I would say. Feel vaguely irritated. Why does she always talk in riddles? I'm not in the mood for this today. You want to share some of my food, you're welcome to, but let's not talk, eh? Thank you. I'm taken aback. No enigmatic answer or smarty pants remark. Bee simply accepts the piece of bacon I've tore up and put on the rock beside me. I haven't had this stuff for such a long time. Bacon? Oh yes, I'd even forgotten its name. The previous researchers share their breakfast with you. No, it was mine, I think. Finding it harder and harder to remember, to order my thoughts. Small brown cat is becoming upset, and I reach out to stroke her instinctively. She shrinks back from my hand. I wouldn't hurt you, Bee. I was just trying to comfort you. She will hurt me. You won't mean to, but she will. I don't understand. It's like a dream. If I try to escape, it vanishes. Losing my memories, and I want so much to pass them on before they're lost forever. It's okay. Managed to coax her close enough to run my finger along her cheek, and she responds, moving in closer. Doesn't have to make sense, you know? You can just talk, let it all pour out, and see what we discover. Where are you going? Aren't you at work? You should be finding out. Finding it? She sat up abruptly and pulled back. I'm thrown. Finding what? I can't. It's a thing at work. Oh, there's no work today. The professor gave me the day off, so I'm heading to the Blue Moss Cliffs. Don't. What? Don't go there. The Blue Moss, it's something. It's what happens when we dispose of stuff from the secret lab. You okay? It's tricking you. My name's not Bee. It's... I know, that's just what the last assistant called you. You can be called anything you like. Trying my best to calm her. She's very distressed. I'm afraid for her well-being. Let me help you. I have some cat soothe in my bag. Quickly open the small bottle and tip a little of the clear fluid into the palm of my hand. Surprisingly, Bee immediately starts lapping at the little pool. In a short time, she's calm and allowing me to stroke her. Toxic. Pardon? Toxic. That's the word I was looking for. The blue moss area. Yes. She's purring now, as though being able to remember has comforted her. You also said we. We? We dispose of stuff from the secret lab? You got there in the end, didn't you? I have a sickening excitement in my stomach. You were me. You had my job before me. A long time ago. Speech is slurry and her eyes are drooping. Like a dream. I need to wake up from this dream to get back to him. To me. Bee, talk to me. Who is he? I need to know. No answers. Little cat is snoozing. Come into the forest to gather my thoughts. See, we're turning into a cat again. Sometime later. Looking around, I don't ever remember being happier. I'm laying out here in the forest with Kibbles, reading a new edition of Kanashi Boy. You ever gonna tell me how you managed to get a hold of these books? Yeah, I could. Really? Finally? Then I'd have to kill you, yeah. Interrupted by the familiar sound of the ferry arriving at the pier, it seems my replacement has already arrived. Must be the new research assistant. Wanna go and annoy them? Kibbles never gets tired of being Kibbles. No, you go if you like. I'm gonna have a nap in a minute. Yeah, me too. It's hard work, all this reading. There was a time I would have thought he was being ridiculous, but these days I have to agree. It's the pages, turning pages, surprisingly taxing with balls. I feel so lucky it's the only thing I have to complain about. My life really is charmed. I now know that I made the right decision. It used to worry me. I felt guilty about giving up my work on the antidote. I resisted the urge to join Kibbles and the rest of the gang for as long as possible. I think a small part of me always knew I would give in eventually. Now I have no regrets. None of the other cats blame me. They're happy for Kibbs and I. We're one big family. Wanna go cliff hopping later? After a sleep, Zubs. Happy to do whatever you want, Kibbs. Really? Of course. Okay, give me a making biscuits massage while I fall asleep, would you? Aw. Roll over and open one eye to see Kibbles has the broadest grin on his face. Swish him with my tail and drift off into a blissful sleep. Adorable. We're very close to the end now. 3 more researches, 3 more recons, 1 more cat. I want to believe. Yeah, Gross 6. Here we go. Blah, blah, blah. Step off the boat. 8 hours later. And we are turning into a cat.
Oh, is it awake? Human, we need to talk to you.
Save it. I know how this goes. Fluffy bum. Blah, blah. Catification. Blah, blah. Evasive answers. Blah, blah. Antidote. Alright. Help the kitties. Alright, here we go. I need to like get up and stretch or something. Oh my god. Played this game too much in the past couple of days. Okay, we'll get started on the romance, then we'll do other stuff. Obviously, we only have one option here. Ravenpaw. Ravenpaw's health has made some heartening improvements lately, so much so the professor and I decided she didn't need to be in isolation anymore. Could be moved to the lab for further treatment. As I prepare the salve and my pestle and mortar, I'm distracted by a tiny, plaintive sound. Turn around and Ravenpaw is curled up in her cage, motionless. As I resume my work, there it is again, and I realize she's humming. Is that you? I thought you were asleep. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was humming out loud. What is that tune? Oh, it's just the song my mom used to sing for me. I hum it sometimes to get to sleep. It sounds lovely. Maybe if you taught it to me, I could sing it to you when you're feeling poorly? Ravenpaw frowns at me and buries her face under her paw. Can't sing? I disagree. I bet you have a lovely voice. No. Put my tools down and go over to her. Maybe you'd like to listen to some songs instead? I believe this has a music library. Take the catalog from my lab coat pockets. Let me see. How do I work this thing? I haven't used this function before. I fumble with the options until a song called Summertime begins to play. How about this? What is that? It's by Soft Summer. Do you like it? It's catchy, right? It's just Summertime Lovin' from Regular Show. It's making me want to claw my eyeballs out of my skull. Let's turn this off then, shall we? Frantically fiddle with the catalog until the music stops. I think my ears might actually be bleeding. My gosh, let me get my otoscope and some cotton bubs. Not literally, you donkey. Oh, right, of course, you were making fun of me. Never seen Ravenpaw be so open. It's great that she's inching out of her shell, but I'm not sure how best to react. Well, I think I can download more music onto this thing. What would you like to listen to? It's okay, you don't need to waste your data on me. It's not a waste if it would make you happy, Ray. Go on, you must have a favorite band. Ravenpaw goes quiet, lost in thought, until finally she mumbles her response. The Mad Catters. High tea. I don't want to seem so uncool by admitting I've never heard of the Mad Catters, let alone any of their songs, so give her a knowing nod and start searching their music app. Oh wow, this is loud. Yeah! Ravenpaw smiles and closes her eyes in appreciation. I sit awkwardly, waiting for the racket to end. Ravenpaw looks totally relaxed, her shield slightly lowered. Finally, the screaming stops, and I hurriedly put my catalog back in my lab coat pocket before she can ask me to play something else. Not for you, then? I just don't get it. My ears just heard racket. Sorry. Don't be. It's good we're all unique. So, cards on table time. All-time favorite song? Oh, there are too many. You probably wouldn't like any of them anyways. It's not the point. It's your taste, not mine. I showed you mine. Okay. It'll always be a Bowie song. Respect. Really? You like him? How could you not? I think it would have to be off the album Hunky Dory. Ooh, good call, good call. Choice. Which song? Feeling flushed with success. This is going better than I could have imagined. Kooks. Ooh. Cute. 'Cause if you stay with us, you're gonna be pretty kooky too. Delighted she knows it. Maybe I'm a little bit cool after all. I'll see if I can download some of his stuff for next time. Is that it then? Afraid so. Should probably get back to work. Ravenpaw looks dejected. If that's okay? Yeah, whatever. Gotta resume my work, but the black cat lets out a small sound. Wait. You said you would sing to me? Feel myself go cold and self-consciousness engulfs me, but I try my hardest not to show it. Well, yeah, if you'd like. Really want to, I suppose I wouldn't mind. Clear my throat and feel myself begin to blush. So what should I sing? Any favorites? I don't know. What'd your mom used to sing to you? Oh, crikey, she used to sing lots of things. I don't know if I can remember any of them. Let me think. Oh, I know. Bounce, little baby, on my knee, soft and pink and chubby. When you wake, you'll have your tea and a bath yours, so you're not so grubby. Dream, little baby, on my lap. Hap, 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 happy. Here's a kiss for your sweet nose, and now I'll change your nappy. As I sing, I notice Ravenpaw visibly relax. She's stretched out a bit, and I realize it's the first time I've seen her uncurl herself. There's plenty of room in her crate. She's always a tight little ball of fur in the corner. When I finish singing, she opens one eye. That was traumatic. You should probably get back to your work now. Rude. Ravenpaw makes a small squeaking noise I've not heard her make before. You okay? Yes, she's laughing. So are you. Alright, Alright. I don't like where this is going. I think I'm buried under a mountain of samples, needs to be sorted and logged. Some days are like this. My back and neck are begging to seize up. I've decided it's time to step out and stretch my legs for a few minutes. Hear the mewling of kittens as soon as I'm out of the tent and follow the sound. Sure enough, Professor Pauper and Miss Marigold are at the large kitten crate. Seem to be lifting them from their crate into a transporter cage.
Oh, Grass 6, you finished your work already. You really are a marvel.
Actually, I'm not even halfway through. I was just taking a quick break. What are you two doing?
Tiny push from the nest, so to speak.
Already? Thought it'd be next week at least.
Some are faring so well, it'd be cruel to keep them incarcerated. There's plenty of protection out there. It's a very safe island for the most part.
Some, Professor. Who's staying?
Just a couple, I think. This chap for certain.
Picks up the plump gray male that Trixie insisted we tag. Looks a picture of health to me. I don't understand. Of course, that happened in a previous playthrough. So I guess it's the royal we. Really, but he looks so well. Quite advanced, too.
Yes, how deceiving looks can be sometimes.
Feel a moment of tension in the air and could swear I saw a look pass between the Professor and Miss Marigold. That's what's wrong with him.
Yes, of course. An inquiring mind is to be encouraged, but alas, an overworked mind is no good to anyone. So I'll go through with it another time when you have less on your plate.
Stand for a moment like an idiot before I realize I've been dismissed. Yes, I really ought to get back to my cataloging. As I reluctantly make my way back to the mountain of work, I can't help feeling uncomfortable. Be keeping a close eye on that little furball. Believe we can do, one more before we need to rest. Mr. Marigold knows something I do not. Today's my day off, and I'm trying to stay out of sight. The Professor doesn't like me being around camp on my downtime. I don't know why, but he's always pushing me off to explore. I feel he wants time without me around to get on with things he'd rather I didn't see. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but he definitely seems shifty to me. Gee, you think? So today I have a plan. It means I have to hang around until Mr. Marigold does his mid-morning errands. I'm trying not to be seen. I don't have too long to wait. He's like clockwork. Every day at this time, he leaves the camp carrying a large bag and doesn't return until an hour later. I've offered to help him a couple of times, but I'm always met with stonewalling. This is the day I find out what he's up to. Let me get a bit of a head start and then I begin to follow. Try to use my new catification properties to my best advantage. Stealth, nimbleness, agility. So much fitter than when I arrived on this island. My eyesight and hearing are fantastic. He's headed into the forest as I suspected he would. Makes it so much easier for me to go unnoticed. We travel for about 10 minutes at a good pace into the densest part of the wooded area. Finally, he stopped up ahead and I could see a type of shack, covered in creepers and ivy that would make great camouflage. You really wouldn't notice this place from any kind of distance. Outside the hut, he bends down. I think he's picking something up, then he disappears inside. I bide my time, finding a good out-of-the-way hiding place. After a short while, he re-emerges, bends down again, and straightens up before setting off the way he came. When satisfied he's not going to return, I gingerly make my way up to the shack. Up close, I can see it's a sturdier structure than I thought, and the door is locked. I bend down as he did and start looking for a key. It's pretty obvious. There's a large flat stone in front of me. I lift it a little and slide my finger under the edge. I feel it instantly. Put the key in the lock and take a deep breath. Unsure of what I'll find in here, I open the door. And the music gets sad again because it's dark and there's no windows, just a small skylight letting in enough light to see that there are lamps, obviously powered by solar panels on the roof. I turn one on. Awful lot of sunlight there in the woods. Takes me a moment to understand what I'm looking at. It's dirty and dingy. There's shelves along two walls that have cages, and the cages are housing cats. There's an eerie silence. None of the cats are making a sound. I go up to one of the cages to check if they're even alive. Hello, kitty. Copyright infringement. There's a small cat that I would judge to be between 10 to 14 weeks old. Its eyes are open, but vacant, as though it doesn't see me. I go to the next cage, another youngster, and another. My stomach lurches as I realize that these are the kittens from the camp that have been released. What are they doing to you? Why are you here? I turn to the other wall and I'm struck by what I see. More small cats, but in different stages of distress. One has an eye bandage, the other is weeping with pus. Another has most of the fur on its back shaved, and where there is an open sore. Another has a bandaged leg, too short as though its paw has been amputated. I begin sweating. The breathing is difficult. I need to get out. I stumble towards the door and fall to my knees outside. Gulp in the cold air and try to refocus my thoughts. It's the strongest proof so far that there's secret tests being carried out on the cats. Tests that Professor Pauper doesn't want me to know about. Are they all in on it? The marigolds are, obviously, but what about Zane? Do I dare mention it to anyone? I need more info first. When I've gathered myself sufficiently, I re-enter the Hell House and try to find some paperwork, anything that might explain what's going on here. I look through the drawers of the filing cabinet in the corner and pull out some of the folders, switch on another lamp and sit on the floor and begin reading. Experiments, obviously, but what for? The data suggests a large number of chemical substances have been tested on the subjects. Instead of the usual catalog of blood and tissue samples collected to evaluate the cats, data is all related to the chemical compounds. They're what's being tested. Some of the records go years back. As I put the papers back, I see waste product bin. I remove the lid and it's almost entirely full of empty ketamine bottles. So that's why there's no sound. These animals are drugged out of all lucidity. I don't know if you can hear me or even that you understand me, but I'm making you a promise that I'll get I'm making you a promise to all of you that I will get to the bottom of this and will help you. Whatever it takes, you will be well and free again. Hold tight, kittens. I will be back. I feel terrible leaving them here. I know it'd be foolish to arouse suspicion until I know what I'm dealing with. Make my way back to camp with a heavy heart but a fierce determination. Yeah, there's some shadiness going on here for sure. You have a lovely nap. We'll come back to that. We'll do the research or the romance first, and then we'll do the other stuff. In the lowest drawer, right at the back. No, I can't find it, Ray. You're sure it wasn't in the cupboard? No, it's there. Keep reaching. It might have slipped down the back. Joking, right? My hand can't squeeze. Oh, hang on. Feel something nestled just under the bottom of the drawer. Think I've got it if I could just try inching it out of the space behind the drawer, but it keeps slipping. Just take the drawer right out. It won't come out. Something's jamming it. We'll give it a yank. Ray, it doesn't work like that. I don't want to break the cabinet. Wait, if I try... Feel around the sidewalls of the cabinet for any blockages. My hand finds a cold protrusion. Ah, I think I found the perpetrator. I wiggle the offending item loose and pull my hand out to inspect what's in it. To my surprise, it's a bottle of nail polish in a muted, dusty pink color. I decide not to ponder why exactly there's a bottle of nail polish stashed away in the lab. Focus instead on the task at hand. The drawer slides out with ease now, and I'm able to retrieve the book. Thoughts in Verse by L. Rutherford? Who's L. Rutherford? Ravenpaw casts her eyes down at her forepaws. One of the research assistants before you found this book somewhere along the beach. She used to read me some of the poems. We never worked out who the author was, but we think they probably came from the shipwreck. It's the first time I've considered that other humans on the island may have had their own relationships with my cats. I don't like to think about it, but I'm not sure why. You're second fiddle to a bunch of long-dead pirates. Flick through the little brown book. The writing is very faint, but I can still clear enough to read. About half the pages are filled with neat words written in ink, and then suddenly it's blank. You didn't finish it, I suppose. Like the one on page 3, it's really dark. Ravenpaw seems more lively than usual today. Hope that means she's getting better, at least getting used to me. When darkness advances and silence makes its retreat, the sounds begin where beach and forest meet. yowling and hissing and awful cries, then like stars in blackness, the thousands of eyes. The sea's fierce temper seems kinder than here, this hell full of danger and hardship and fear. Huh, I wonder what that means. Oh, I debated turning on the real camera so you could see me facepalm there. Gee, I wonder if it's a poem about the island. Are you backward? I know it's describing the island, but I wonder what happened to the author. It sounds rather distressing. Rather distressing? You humans can be so exhaustively repressed sometimes. Just think about it. Imagine this place, this island, before the clumsy humans cut a swath through it and claimed it for science. For your cozy tents and generators and protective gear. All that time ago, mysterious and overgrown, terrifying branches twisting up the blackness like monstrous golems. The yowling of unidentified animals endlessly boring into your brain throughout the nights, making sleep impossible. No friendly little brook to bathe in. Oh my goodness. I swear to God I can read. Nothing to soothe the gnawing pain of starvation. The filthy baking heat of the day, the relentless cold of the night, the slow dawning realization that there's no escape. This is where the journey ends. This is the final destination. Hell on earth. I guess hell is other cats. It's rather obvious that Ravenpaw has thought about this poem a lot. I feel bad for being so insensitive and human. Must have been horrific. Yes. Really put yourself in their shoes as though you were there. I admire that. How else are you going to understand? Scientist, I'm trained to stand back and observe, be impartial. But if you keep a distance, you'll miss the detail. Oh, I don't. It's about proximity as much as location. Sometimes I have to get up very close, even microscopically close. I'm still on the outside looking in. See the finest of details, but I don't think it's what you're talking about, is it? You mean getting inside to the heart of it? Yes, I suppose so. It's the hue or innuendo, the essence of something that defines what it is. It's not always obvious from the outside. Well, it's very obvious in this poem. I wonder why I wanted to shy away from it. I'm not brave like you. You kidding? Or fishing for compliments, maybe? I feel my face get hot. I wasn't. I'm playing. You have plenty of courage. Came here to this island, not everyone would. Held up under very difficult conditions. Then there's the whole rah, cat monster rah thing. Taken aback by her sudden impression, it makes me laugh. How's that going, by the way? I shrug my shoulders. One moment. Thought I heard a noise. Sometimes if I make a little progress in the antidote, I feel really fine with it. But if something I'm trying fails or progress slows down, I have a sleepless night trying to make myself sick with worry. There's times when I forget about it altogether. How can I complain when I see what you guys have had to deal with? Silent for a while. It's not uncomfortable. Eventually it's Ray who breaks it. Oh, go on then. What? I know you're just dying to read a funny one. Not really. But there's this little limerick I thought was hilarious. She rolls her big eyes and smiles. Okay, here goes. There was a young deck swab named Davy, whose hair was exceptionally wavy. I asked him, tell pray, what got it that way? He answered, 'tis drinkin' me gravy. She couldn't help but laugh at the awfulness of it. We both keep laughing till we have tears in our eyes. Suppose I ought to be making tracks. Okay, just read me the lullaby one as I fall asleep, please? Yes, I like that one too. I lay out here and watch the stars, and all the world comes clear to me. The patterns soothe my battle scars. They show me where I'm meant to be. While the sea is kind to me and rocks me in my slumber, and all the stars, the nears and fars, overwhelm me with their number. Think of you, the brightest star, lost so young, gone so far. When my final day is done, follow you to the place you've gone. Then back together, you and I, will brighten up another sky. Look down softly at the snoring cat. She looks so peaceful. Aww. Let's go for... just do the next 2 romances, and then we'll do the other stuff. Because then we'll get the key so we can finish off Recon. Trust me, I won't let anything harm you. I've come prepared. Ravenpaw eyes the basket suspiciously, and I realize it looks to her like a cage. Okay, let's rethink this. How about I carry you in my arms? Like a baby? Yes. No, like a princess. A princess, really? Ravenpaw shoots me a withering look. Well, you know what I mean, right? You can hold a pillow like this, and you can relax on top of it and survey your kingdom. You really are bad at reading people, aren't you? Not one of those gullible domestic cats like Fruity Cootie or whatever her name is. If I leave this lab, I want to do it with some dignity, human. Yes, of course, I'm sorry. It was a bad idea to try this today. Let's do it tomorrow. Oh, come on, Ray. You were so excited about this earlier. Don't give up now. That was then. This is now. I'm too tired anyway. You're always tired. That's part of the problem. Start somewhere, right? You'll never get strong again. Yeah, but what if we see other cats? What if we do? Look, I'll be with you. No matter who you see, you won't have to deal with anyone on your own. Anyone who? Who do you think we'll see? No one. You said no matter who we see, so you think we'll see someone. No, Ravenpaw, stop this. You have to go out sometime. Why not now? I don't know, Ravenpaw looks so sad and tiny, I decide not to push her anymore. Okay, don't worry. We'll try again tomorrow, okay? No, let's do it. Oh, wow, really? The cat that just seconds ago looked so helpless suddenly looks fiercely determined. Yes, but if you hurt me, I will kill myself just so I can come back and haunt you for the rest of your short, miserable life. Suppress a laugh. I understand. I'm just gonna lift you now, okay? She's so light. I'm shocked, but I don't show it. I feel the tremble of her frail body through the makeshift cushion. Decided a folded blanket would be best so we can use it for other things when we find our spot. Suddenly, Ravenpaw takes a sharp breath. I freeze. Huh? What's wrong? It's the air. We're right by the water, aren't we? I can smell the change. She laughs. Struck by how much this cat has come on since I stopped her treatment. Only a week ago, she had no sense of smell. It's good, right? Yes, human, it's good. She inhales deeply. It's very good. Would you like to sit down here for a while? We're still close to the compound. No, go a little further. I want to see it. Take me to the sea. Walk for a short while until I find a small collection of rocks that looks like a good resting spot. This looks like somewhere Trixie would like. Yeah, she's always drawn to the rocks. Minerals. I miss her. Your friends? Yes, when we were little. Do you want some water? A little snack? Take the picnic out of my backpack, and as I arrange it on the blanket, I decide to gently press her. So how come you were locked up and Trixie wasn't? It was never really free. It was part of the breeding program. My mother was bred with one of the elder cats. As you see, us kittens are tagged and set free at 12 weeks. Except we're not. Not all of us, anyway. But I've helped release the kittens myself. We know that's a lie. Yeah, sure. What, you actually let them out of the cages yourself? Well, no, but I've prepared them for release, and then they're gone? Yeah, I've never had reason to question it. Getting that sick feeling in my stomach again. So where are they? Not everything is above board as you'd like to think. Yeah, I'm starting to see that. Or above ground, either. What do you mean, Ray? There's something I should know. I think that's enough for one day. I'm starting to feel woozy. I'd like you to take me back now if you don't mind. No, come on, talk to me, Ray. What happens to the kittens? What happened to you? Ravenpaw closes her eyes tight as if she's hoping that when she opens them, she'll be somewhere else. Doing so well, really opening up. Don't go backwards. Go backwards? You really don't understand, do you? Not just some Marty little girl. The way I am because of you, you people, you scientists with your observations and poking and prodding and unbiased opinions. Of course I'll never fully open up to you, human. You wouldn't know what to do with me if I did. Can't stick a label on it, it doesn't exist. That's what you did to my mom, isn't it? So you're able to sleep peacefully after you murdered her. I feel very confused and very guilty, even though I didn't have anything to do with the thing she's describing. I know you don't believe I'm like that, Ray. You're angry and hurt, and I don't blame you for one bit for hating us, all of us. But if you didn't think I was different, would you not be sitting out here with me in the first place? Just looking away so I can't read her eyes. Never be able to fully understand what it's like to be you, to have your experiences. I'm trying, though. I'm doing everything I can to change things. Not the past. You have to find your own way to live with that. But the future. How you live from here on. I want to make a difference. Would you at least give me a chance? Here's the deal. She turned her head and is fixing at me with her huge eyes. If and when you come up with a viable plan, I will do everything within my power to help you nail it. Deal. Raised my hand in a moment of excitement and realized too late that Ravenpaw would never high-five me. She looks at my hovering palm. She looks me in the eye. What are you even doing? I clumsily style it out. Taking you back now. Just taking you back. Swing and a miss. It's late, well after work hours. Ravenpaw asked me to visit her when Professor Pomper finishes shift because she has something important to tell me. The lab is cold and silent. I can just make out the reflection of Ravenpaw's big eyes. I flip the light switch and the room becomes illuminated with a harsh, dazzling brightness that makes me squint. Came as soon as I could. I know that the professor stays up so late. How does he function on such little sleep? Said Vampire. Keep your voice down, human. We don't want to draw any attention. Maybe we should turn off the lights. Sometimes the caretakers do random patrols. You mean Mr. and Mrs. Marigold? I'm sure they're dead to the world right now. You'd be surprised. Anyway, enough chin-wagging. I have something for you. A gift? Of course not, you div. Where on earth would I have gotten a gift? The local gift shop? Oh, of course. So what is it? Why? I guess we should pause for a second. Ravenpaw called us a div, which is a British insult. And it basically just means idiot. And my understanding is it's apparently based on... It's something that you would call prisoners, because in some prison systems they have to do like work while they're incarcerated. And one of the things that prisoners do is they put dividers in boxes. And it's like low effort menial work that even an idiot can do. So div for the dividers is the way that I've heard it explained. Which is, it's weird, but whatever. I've also heard some people claim it's supposed to be like divot in a golf course, but that, I guess either one works, either way. Because I think I could trust you now. I'm taken aback and feel flushed with pride. You can, Ray. I've sworn to help you and I won't let you down. Do you want this or not? She pushed her paw towards me and I realize she has something under it. My stomach lurches. I worry it may be a spider or a fly, but she's not expecting me to eat it. What is it? Don't know. Thought you might know. She lifts her paw. I'm relieved to see that nothing is moving, and on closer inspection I realize what it is. Oh, that's called a key. It's used to open things that are locked, like doors or safes. You really are touched. I know what a key is. I meant you might be able to figure out what it opens, losing hope by the second. Oh, forgive me. Where'd you get it? Best not to ask. I'm serious, Ray. This key could be important. If I know where you got it from, it'd be easier to work out what it opens. Ravenpaw eyes me skeptically. I thought you trusted me. Fine, I got it from Ms. Marigold. You mean Mara, the caretaker's wife? She's not the caretaker's wife, you cretin. She's the caretaker just as much as he is. Yes, of course, but the key? She came to clean my cage last night. Too lazy to take me out of it first, of course. Mr. Marigold came in and gave her the key. She put it here. Ravenpaw indicated the corner of the cage. Because her hands were full, then they had a huge argument. While they were shouting at each other, I used my ninja skills to hide the key under my paw. That was that. She didn't notice? So worked up about him, she forgot about it. Left without even bothering to refill my water bowl. So what makes you think the key is so important? Because when he handed it to her, he said, "It's your turn. I'm fed up with being the one who always has to do his dirty work." Whose dirty work? Professor Prospero's, obviously. Prospero? Pooper. Oh, Pauper. Of course. They're making a pretty obvious reference to the fact that this whole thing is kind of a play on the Tempest. Just throwing that out there. Of course, I've really got to get back to my tent now or I'll be a wreck in the morning, but thanks for this, Ravenpaw. Find out what the key opens, I promise. Recon 18. You had a lovely nap. Oh boy. Alright, is that the catalog going off? Mr. Marigold's name light up the screen. His texts are still rather cryptic. I wonder if he knows I figured out that he's the mysterious messenger. Decide not to tell him for the future. Those 3 little kittens are so small and helpless. I don't think they would stand a chance without you to protect them. Keep a watchful eye, Cat Nanny. He's referring to the 3 kittens that Professor Pauper decided to hold back when he let the others back into the wild. Why would Mr. Marigold be interested in the kittens? Either way, I've learned to take these messages seriously, so I make a note to check on them in my lunch break today, just to be sure everything's alright. I decided to take my lunch to the lab. Mrs. Marigold let me make a sandwich of some of the leftover ham from last night's meal. Hello, my lovelies. Here you are. 1, 2, 3, all snoring peacefully. Feel relieved and a little foolish for worrying. I suppress a childish giggle and open one of the cages to give the tagged kitty a cuddle. Hello, sleepy pants. I carefully stroke him with my finger as he continues to snooze in my hand. Oh, what's this? My finger runs over a little rough lump on the back of his neck, which elicits a small squeal from the plump gray kitten. My heart stops in my chest and I quickly move him to the examination table. I gently blow his soft fur out of the way and catch a glimpse of the bright red gash between his shoulder blades. He was too young to be tagged. It's got infected. Trembling hands, I reach for my catalog to scan his tag so I can erase the information before I remove the chip. Cat. Scan failed. No tag found. No tag found. So we tagged it correctly. The professor knew and removed it. It's a beautiful day. The sun isn't too hot, which is lucky as I'm going on a walk with Kibbles and McMurphy. They've been excited to show me something for the past week, but this is the first proper break I've had. We're heading further into the forest than I've been before. So where are we going exactly?
No idea, Kara. I'm following Kibbles.
Huh? I was just following grass sticks.
You've both been in front of me. How could we have been leading?
Don't trouble yourself, Kara. We're not in any rush today.
Just as I'm about to reply, something catches my eye. I instinctively move towards it. From this distance, it looks like black swaths have been cut into the ground. Guys, what's this? Kibbles and McMurphy, who've already wandered some way off, rejoin me. The 3 of us stand looking at what appears to be some kind of runway. Skid marks. Of course, I thought it was a runway, but you're right.
Come on, mi amigos. Where's your sense of adventure?
McMurphy has already disappeared in the thick overgrowth that's shrouding whatever it is the marks lead to.
Oh.
Kibbles and I follow the sound of McMurphy's voice and found ourselves in a small clearing. My goodness.
Wow, is it a fighter?
Looking at the wreckage of a crashed 2-man biplane. Most of it is covered with vines and other forest growth, but the front half at least seems to be mostly intact. 1 second. Should have done some vocal warm-ups or something before this.
This looks like it's been here for some considerable time. Strange how I've never come across it before, eh, Kibbs?
Nothing about this island surprises me anymore.
Well, maybe we'll see some dead guys. Murph, help me out.
McMurphy is silent. He has something in his jaws that appears to be caught in the broken propeller and is pulling on it. It's like some kind of rag. McMurphy? What is that? McMurphy has freed the cloth and is now sitting with it hanging in his mouth. He's silent and still as though lost in thought.
What's up, Murph? What's with this manky scarf?
I can see it now. It's a scarf, old and filthy. Looks like it was once the type of white scarf a pilot would have worn. You okay, McMurphy? What's that? He's barely present. Scarf, is it important?
I'm not sure. Stop being weird, Murph.
Kibble, shush.
It feels like there's something I should know or remember.
Remember? Have you seen it before?
Maybe. A long time ago, before here.
Not sure I understand what you mean.
Before I came here, you wouldn't think I was born on this island, do you? Well, you might as well have been, considering how little you remember from before. It's all going, Granddad, fading away to oblivion.
Kibble's banter seems to have brought McMurphy back from whatever he was dreaming about. Relieved to see the twinkle return to his eye. Okay then, Mr. Smarty Pants, how did you get here? Oh, I read that, and just whatever.
It's not a very interesting story. I don't want to bore anyone. Yeah, that's what I thought. Right, let's go.
McMurphy and Kibbles head back the way we came. Stand stunned for a second watching them go. Guys? They've lost interest. They've already moved on. I look back at the wreckage and realize there's nothing I could do here on my own. I'll have to come back at some point with Floofy Butt. Exactly the sort of thing he'd love to help me investigate. Do the last romance, then the last recon, and then the final research. Oh boy. So what shall we read today? Flick through the little book of poetry. Ravenpaw and I have gone through most of the poems, dragging them out one a day because we're dreading finishing it all together. We've got Alone, Love Sonnet, Bonnie Boat, and Hunger. Ravenpaw looks less engaged than usual. She usually perks up when I get to the poetry book out. She's sitting hangdog in the corner of her cage, shrugging at each title. I think we should read a happy poem today, something to cheer us up. How about Bonnie Boat? Ravenpaw rolls her eyes. She hates the silly poems and prefers the dark, brooding ones about stormy seas and missing home. Just leave it. What do you mean, Ray? I don't want to listen to poetry. It's a futile distraction from reality. So first, I'm not sure how to react. I thought she enjoyed our reading time. Ray, is there something you want to talk about? Ravenpaw lets out a heavy sigh. You wouldn't understand. I shrug. Try me. No, you wouldn't understand because I don't even understand. I feel so deeply, yet I can't articulate it at all. Makes me want to scream, cry, laugh, sleep. I feel... I don't want to waste your time with me. Got a big important human things to do. You don't want to be babysitting a cat like me. Ray, I love spending time with you. As soon as I wake up, I feel excited to see you, read poems with you, discuss things with you. You're so unique. You have an amazing insight and a delightfully wicked sense of humor. I'm not babysitting you, I'm your friend. I talk to you when you're feeling down because you deserve to be happy, especially after all you've been through here. Ravenpaw looks frustrated, but she mumbles. I guess I know which poem I'd like you to read to me now. Maybe Elle will be able to say better than I can. Read me a love sonnet, okay? I lack the words to say the things I feel. My tongue is slow and of the humdrum kind. And though my eyes were erstwhile keen as steel, you've eclipsed the sun and made me blind. Do not see the bright that you bewail, the fuzz of fur so soft against my skin. I will not shun the sweet curl of your tail, nor shut the door and never let you in. Our cursed fate has dealt us bitter blows, and yet methinks that mine are worse by far. For as the nights get colder your fur grows, while I am left adrift with no lodestar. Is there one who would laugh and not feel pity for this poor wretch whose love is turning kitty? Oh wow, sounds like Elle was in love with a werecat? I wonder how that worked. I knew you wouldn't get it. I feel like I'm hurting her feelings without intending to or understanding how. Explain it to me, Ray. It's not rocket science. I mean, it's just love is love. You can't choose who you fall in love with, right? If only you could, things would be much easier. Sometimes love just creeps up and hijacks you. No matter how much you don't like it or try to get away from it, once it's got you, and there's no breaking free. Make it sound awful, and... well, it is. You're not sure the person you're in love with, but it can be amazing, too. Obstacles that felt insurmountable before suddenly feel insignificant. Things you thought you'd never be able to do are done. Poems you used to hate become love songs that sing to your soul. Human, cat, werecat, elder, whatever. Love does not discriminate. I'll be controlled or boxed up neatly to suit our prejudices, so we have to just grow a pair and come clean and see where it takes us. So, I love you. What are you going to do about that? So long silence while I gather up the courage to say that I love you too. Oh, Ravenpaw, I thought it was just me. I didn't even hope you would feel the same. I know we've become close, but I resigned myself to thinking we could never be more than friends. She wouldn't accept me. Really do go on, don't you? I blushed with happiness. Suppose we both do a bit. So guess we're stuck with each other, eh? Guess we are. She smiles the brightest smile I've ever seen on her beautiful face. Aww. $97.2%. Passing Professor Popper's tent on my way to the lab, just he comes dashing out. We collide, sending both of us sprawling. My goodness, Professor, you okay? I'm up on my feet instantly and offering him a hand.
Not sure that I am, Grass 6.
Now I'm worried I might have injured my boss. Is that a sackable offense? Let me take a look. Where does it hurt? Kneeling down beside him, trying to feel his legs.
What on earth are you doing?
I'm sorry, I thought you were... Cuts over me.
Fine, give me some space. Then you can help me search.
You lost something?
The key.
The key? Where'd you lose it? Gives me a withering look.
If I knew the answer to that, the key wouldn't be lost, now would it? I had it last in my tent, I think. It's certainly not there now. But perhaps I might have dropped it out here somewhere.
Happy to help you look, Professor. It's gotta be here somewhere. Thought strikes me. Wonder if this could be the key Ravenpaw gave me. Do you mind me asking what the key is for? Professor suddenly looks at me with suspicion.
There's no reason for you to know that.
Okay, I was just trying to get a picture in my mind. Big, small, silver, brass?
I think there will be a lot of keys to choose from, Grouse 6. Any key you find ought to be brought to me immediately, understood?
Of course, sir.
Sure you have chores to attend to. I don't want to hold you up.
Professor waves me away as he continues to search the grass around the entrance to his tent. Clearly this key is important. As I make my way to the lab, I begin to get an idea. It's a little left field, but this key is certainly something important, something the professor doesn't want me to know about, and that makes me determined to uncover what it might be. Cutting a convincing-looking key with the equipment in the lab is easier than I thought it would be. Compared to the one Ravenpaw passed on, it looks almost identical to me. Thing won't actually work, but that's the point. Send the professor a message using the catalog. I found a key in the lab. Could it be the one you lost? Send pic, please. Send a photo of the key.
Be right there.
Don't have to wait long. The professor is with me in seconds.
Well done. Where is it?
I give him the freshly made key. Turns it over in his hand. I hold my breath. It's the moment of truth. We notice it's not identical.
Yes, I'm sure this is the one. There's only one way to make certain. Thank you again.
He's gone. Kibbles appears from under the lab bench.
On it, boss.
Follows the professor. There's nothing more for me to do but wait. Don't have to wait long. Kibbles is back within 5 minutes. That was quick. Where'd he go?
Quite funny, really. Put the key in the lock and it wouldn't turn. Got more and more red in the face, then he threw the key in a drawer and stormed off.
So, what was he trying to unlock?
Oh, it's a big metal thing in the supply shed.
Really? But the cabinets in there aren't normally locked. In fact, the keys are left in the doors.
I was trying to open that thing. Wouldn't open the thing inside it.
Oh, there's something else in there.
Yeah, but I couldn't see what it was because he shooed me away when I got up close.
Think we ought to check it ourselves, don't you?
Follow me, I'm the leader.
I slink in comically close to the floor. I suppress a laugh. Okay, leader, lead on. Just down to the lab when the professor calls to me.
Ghost 6, false alarm, I'm afraid. Need to keep those keen eyes peeled.
What a shame. I thought our little mystery was solved. Never mind, though. I'm sure it'll turn up eventually.
Let's hope so. I'll have to speak with Zane. If you need me, I'll be down at the jetty.
Yes, sir. See you at lunch. Strides off with purpose.
Gods of Heligram, they're smiling down on us. Mission on.
Double check there's no one around before ducking into the supply shed. After Kibbles points out the cupboard that the professor was opening, posts him on lookout by the door. He's in his element, pacing back and forth and doing quick gotcha maneuvers. It doesn't take long to work out the filing drawer at the bottom of the cabinet is what the key belongs to. I turn it in the lock and, hey, presto. Inside there are lots of hanging files, and I don't have any idea what I'm looking for, so I take one at random. There are diagrams of 2 different cats. One of them is labeled Project Felix, Subject 26. The other is Island Cat, number 38. Some research notes in addition to the diagrams, I start to read. Day 215, Subject 26 and number 38 were introduced today. Number 26 was immediately aggressive. 2 cats had to be separated before serious injury occurred. Both cats are very docile with others of their own kind. Perhaps Island Cats and Project Felix subjects are sufficiently different that they view each other as a threat. Flip ahead a few entries. Day 234, subjects continue to attack each other on sight. Attempts to breed the two animals naturally does not seem to be working. Artificial insemination was attempted today. Initial signs are promising. Day 301. According to normal cat gestation period, the subject should have given birth by now. It seems as though the addition of the Project Felix subject has extended this time. Day 350. Overnight, number 38 gave birth to a single kitten. The animal's small, black, and sickly. Shows remarkable intelligence in our tests. Day 354. Attempts to introduce the kitten to number 38 have ended in failure. Both the mother and father are inherently aggressive toward their offspring. The remainder of the notes detail the increasingly horrifying experiments performed on number 26, number 38, and their kitten. Eventually, the adult cats die as a result of the experiments. So they turned somebody into a werecat, bred them with one of the cats that was on the island, and the result was Ravenpaw. After the death of Subject 26 on day 450, the decision has been made to shut down this facility. 6 is not pleased with what she had to read in our reports. The offspring will be moved to the main laboratory near the beach for observation. Trembling as I use my catalog to take photos of more of the documents before I lock everything away. I stumble outside where Kibbles is on his hind legs, standing to attention.
All good, Sarge?
I can't answer Kibbles. The handwriting on these notes is eerily familiar and my mind is racing. So many signs, suspicions all coming to light. I daren't say a word out loud, but I can feel a sense of dread creeping into my heart. Kibbles starts to stare at me, concerned. I'm fine, Kibbles, I'm fine. I'm gonna rest one more time. Just for the hell of it. Because we can. $98.6. Turning after a morning gathering specimens, I decide to take the side route into camp so I can check up on the kittens. Stopped in my tracks to see the large rearing pen is empty. On further inspection, the smaller transitory crate nearby is also empty. So surprised and disappointed the professors released my gray kitten without me. So clear I wanted to be there to see him off.
Oh, Gross 6, what wonderful timing. I was worried you might not be back.
The professor snuck up on me, making me jump. Thank goodness, I thought I'd missed him being released. Are we doing it now?
I'm afraid not. In fact, I have some difficult news for you.
Feel my stomach lurch. What is it, Professor? Something happened to Plumpy?
I did warn you not to get too attached. Naming them isn't always a good idea. It becomes so very personal. However, I fall prey to the same temptations myself. They really are so seductive. It makes situations like this one all the more impossible. Hoping you'll be able to help this time.
Yes, of course, Professor. Whatever you need.
Your little Plumpy has run into a spot of bother, I'm afraid. His tests have shown his kidneys aren't working properly. Though we have tried all the usual treatments, it doesn't seem to be responding well. I think his only chance is to receive a donor kidney from another cat. Before that can happen, we need to remove his native kidneys and place him on dialysis for a while, see if he's a viable subject for transplant.
Oh, I'm shocked to hear that, Professor. He seems so well.
Sadly, with the very young ones, this type of problem overwhelms them so rapidly, it's often too late to do anything by the time we even know they're unwell. So you'll help me with surgery? I believe you've reached such stage of your veterinary training that you can assist.
Of course, yes, it would be an honor.
Go and sort yourself out. We shall meet in the lab in 30 minutes.
It's hard to take in. I feel nervous, but also excited to be taking part in life-saving surgery. Stuff I've done in college seems such a long time ago now. I hope I don't mess up. Professor and I have scrubbed in and are checking all the necessary equipment laid out and ready to use. Plumpy has already been shaved and had pre-med, so he's sleeping peacefully.
Must say it's a luxury to have another pair of hands, Gross 6. I usually have to do this sort of thing alone.
It's a privilege to help, sir. I'm sure I'll be able to learn a lot from you.
So shall we begin?
Next half hour passes in a flash, sorting out the anesthesia, intubation, and finally, the incisions which will determine whether this little chap will live or die. Completely awed by Professor Popper's skill and professionalism. Everything is done to the highest standard. Finally, we remove the native kidneys, place them in the jars of preserving fluid for further testing, and get ready to stitch him up. But that's not what happens. Instead of stitching him, I see the professor take his scalpel and cut an artery. I cannot trust my eyes and think I must have imagined it, but suddenly all hell breaks loose. What an absolute jackass.
We have a bleed, we have a bleed!
No idea what to do. Frozen to the spot. I want to scream. I saw you cut him, but I can't make a sound.
Gross 6 move, we need to stem the bleeding.
Yes, I'm sorry. Suddenly I'm doing all the right things. I feel as if I'm outside myself looking on. The scene is tragic. So much blood from such a tiny thing. Half of it's over me and my eyes, my hair. And then it's still again. We've lost him.
Sorry, we did all we could.
What happened?
Textbook hemorrhage, I'm afraid. It happens sometimes when you're least expecting it. So nothing can be done in a situation like that. The one good thing we have left is to take care of the rest of the organs and put them to good use, to help other kitties.
Can't believe what I'm hearing. And harvest his other organs?
So he didn't die in vain. Be wrong not to, don't you think?
I'm speechless. I need to get away.
Of course, I understand if it's all too much for you. Perhaps you'd like to go and lie down a bit. You can carry on here, I'm used to it.
I don't remember leaving, but I'm grateful to be alone in my tent. Creeping around late at night again. Seem to be doing this a lot more lately because my covert work on the antidote has reached a crucial and very exciting stage. In fact, right now I'm trying to stop my hands from trembling long enough for me to place a slide under a microscope. Results will tell me whether or not I need to go back to the drawing board. I hold my breath before lowering my head to the eyepiece and slowly turn the fine focus knob. Hardly believe what I'm seeing. The cell movement is exactly what I've been looking for since I began this research. I check, I recheck, I check again, and then... Eureka! Keep your voice down. I freeze. You mustn't attract attention. B, what on earth are you doing here? I'm always here. I've been supervising your research since you started. You've been spying on me? Yes. But how? I'm always so careful to make sure I'm not followed. As I said, I'm always here. But why? I have a vested interest in the outcome. So does everyone, but none of the other cats scare me half to death in the middle of the night, stalking me. None of the other cats are going to be your test subject. Test subject? No, I wouldn't allow that, not until... Not volunteering, I'm insisting. B, I haven't even tried it on myself yet. I don't want to put you in any danger. But in danger from the day Zane and I arrived on this island. This isn't danger, this is hope. Zane? Answer your questions while waiting for the antidote to take effect on me. See the determination in her eyes and realize there's no use in arguing. Begin measuring a dose of the precious serum. Made my way to Trixie's cave for the final days of B's antidote trial. Seems like no time at all since she cornered me in the lab and insisted I'd use her as my test subject. Yet watching her transform and listening to her memories as they've gradually returned makes me feel like a lifetime ago. We've come close during this time, B and me. Irritable little cat who used to call me Turntail is now a real friend. Has confided to me about the life she used to have with Zane, their journey here and the awful betrayal that wrenched them apart. It's felt like a privilege watching her gradually lose her feline characteristics and transform back into this beautiful human. I've had to adapt as she's reverted gradually, bringing more and more human comforts. Pretty little cave now almost looks like a bedroom. Zane has been really helpful in carrying the things we need and carrying them here. He's been so protective of Bee and her little hideout, wanting to stand guard night and day, but to force him away at times so no suspicion is aroused at base camp. Then, as Bee's physical appearance started to change, she banished him from seeing her. He was upset at first. Have we spent enough time apart? Please try to understand. I don't want you seeing him in transition. I want to come down to you all or nothing. Eventually he agreed that they would not see each other until the last dose takes effect and the transition complete. It happens today. So excited for the pair of them, I can't imagine what it's been like being apart for so long. Hello? Really? Her name is just Cat? Hi. I've been ready for ages. I thought you'd never arrive. Sorry, B, I couldn't get away sooner, but I have it. Pull the vial from my pocket. Final dose, although to be honest, you look fully human to me now. I feel it, too. What time is he coming? She looks so anxious I want to hug her, but I know by now it's not her style, so just hand over the medicine. Zane, any minute, I think. Better get on with it then. Here goes everything. Pours the liquid down her throat with a shudder. Hello? Anyone home? Oh, it's Jay Leno. What should I do? Invite him in, of course. Shall I leave? Not just yet. Stay for now. Okay. Make myself as invisible as possible, tucked into a dark corner. Come in. Zane enters, and the two of them stand staring at each other for what seems like an eternity until... Look older. I've watched it happen, but Guess that must be a bit of a shock for you.
You look,
It's okay, don't worry. She lowers her gaze, her shoulders fall. Beautiful. Steps towards her and takes her hand gently in his.
Neko, my beautiful Neko. If you were my wife already, I'd ask you to marry me.
Neko, looks up in Zane's eyes and they kiss. Sorry, but I need to get on. Pair break apart self-consciously.
So of course, we need to make our plan. Final adjustments and checks?
Zane is laughing. Neko looks at him uncertainly.
It's my Neko. As efficient as ever, and I thank the gods, the stars, and most of all you, Gross 6, bringing her back to me.
Sadly, now you have to part again. Is everything set up on the mainland? How about Bob and Joe?
I have the address of a safe house. Bob will be expecting a large cargo tonight for a discreet package.
You know what to do when you're safely home?
Check. I'll set up a meeting with a law firm and have a standard property deed drawn up. Then make arrangements for a meeting with an independent news agency with no information, with a little bit of bait. From then on, I'll wait to hear from you. Won't be long, my love.
Certainly won't. We plan to set the wheels in motion in 24 hours. That should give you plenty of time to be safely tucked away. Don't forget, we need a photo. Zane hands me his catalog and puts his arm around Neko. Say cheese!
To catch a rat.
I leave to prepare for Neko's departure while I rendezvous with the other cats about the details of our plan. Shh, Kibbles, we don't want to alert the professor of anything suspicious. The element of surprise to throw him off guard.
Okay, we all ready and certain of our parts?
Yes, sir? I've forgotten all their voices. My throat is tired.
Aye, Captain.
I'll meet you there. Ravenpaw darts off in the darkness.
Oh, do get on with it. This is eating into my beauty sleep.
Goes then, take your positions. All the cats scatter in different directions, and I take a deep breath before bursting into the tent of a sleeping Professor Pauper. Help, Professor, help!
What is it? What's going on?
Professor, you must come to me quickly. There's no time to dress. They've all escaped. Zane's let all the cats go, and he's raving like a madman.
What?
He's run off towards the elders. We must stop him.
Good Lord, wait for me.
I've begun to sprint. Hurry! He's sprinting right after me. I have a small torch, which is bright enough to light the way. Wants to run safely. He's going to have to keep up. Faster, sir. I think I can see him.
On your heels, we must catch him. What's gotten into the man?
He's ranting about his wife. I don't understand.
Oh, perhaps I do. Faster, Gross 6.
Covered ground fast. We're almost at the danger zone. Grab the quake stone in my pocket and cut the beam of my torch. Damn, no battery.
Be careful here. We're near Elder territory.
Don't worry, Professor. It's placed like the back of my hand by now. Follow me. And he does, right into the danger zone.
No.
It's too late. The vibration is hit and he's out for the count. Watch as the large cats rouse themselves and turn on him, slowly beginning to circle. Good, you bastard. As soon as the first bite happens, Ravenspaw emerges from the shadow and orders the elder cats to retreat. Respecting her half-elder bloodline, they obey her without question. Just enough time to whistle for Zane to come and help me drag the unconscious professor to safety out of the danger zone. He's light and it's easy for Zane to carry him. Make our way back to the beach where the other cats are waiting.
Has he been bitten?
Yeah, he's been bitten all right. Look at his hand.
Professor begins to rouse.
Where am I? What happened?
You're one of us now. Hush, Kibbles. One thing at a time.
What? How can I hear them?
That's a good thing. You'll see.
Good to have you on board, fella. Well, that remains to be seen.
Someone please tell me what on earth is going on.
Professor sat up and I notice how frail he is. Here, sir. Drape my sweatshirt around his shoulders. It can get quite chilly out here at night. It seems to calm him.
I knew you were smarter than the others. How much have you worked out?
Actually, I wasn't the smartest. I think that honor goes to B.
B, I don't...
Zane has put a picture of his wife on his catalog screen and holds it in front of the professor.
Have you forgotten her already?
The professor looks genuinely sad.
Oh, yes, Neko. She was very talented. It's tragic what happened to her. But I don't see what that has to do with...
Take a closer look at the photo, sir. Notice the date.
But that's not possible.
All things are possible, Professor, if you want them enough.
Data's from this week, but she's...
Human. Again. Which means... There's a pause as he looks from cat to cat. Really? You could have put a pun there. I would have been fine with that one. Oh, really? Thought he was supposed to be one of the greatest minds of the 21st century.
There's an antidote.
Looks at me with admiration.
Congratulations, this is incredible news. Really, this whole charade was a bit unnecessary. Too much even for my love of the theater. Should we go to the lab and you could walk me through the process?
He's beginning to stand until Zane places a large hand on his shoulder that pins him to the spot. Not so fast, mate. Need to listen first. We have a proposition for you.
You know, Zane, it was never personal about your wife. I liked her, I like you, but I needed insurance. Brings us rather deftly to the business at hand. Gross 6, would you care to debrief?
Neko offered herself.
Insisted, more like. She's very determined when she wants something.
Neko insisted on being a guinea pig for the antidote trials that I was working on. We discovered that, along with her physical restoration, her memories also returned. Memories that were rather incriminating for you, sir. The main points of the intel being that this whole setup is owned by a cosmetics company, and contrary to propaganda about animal welfare, you're practicing the most barbaric torture and extermination of cats. So yeah, it was definitely, we figured out it was cosmetics in, the first stream.
Well, this is ridiculous, why would I? I wish I sound like a braggart, but I am a highly regarded award-winning scientist. Go anywhere, do anything. Why on earth would I choose to spend my talents on lipstick and powder?
Possibly because you couldn't work anywhere else? Did the government restrict your prerogative to choose how you spend your talents?
Not to mention the lure of the big bucks.
Yes, wealth is very seductive and it brings so much power. And you like power, don't you, Professor? A whole island of your own must feel like playing God. It would appeal to a certain type of personality.
A psycho.
A narcissist? Let's not start name-calling. Let's not get bogged down in the why. The facts are plain. You may have come here in the beginning with your good intentions, but over time the goalposts have shifted, lines have been crossed, and you are now so steeped in your evil that you no longer recognize it as such.
Bravo, nicely said.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. What do I have to do to get out of this intact? Refuse to be thrown under the bus for that rich, spoiled brat.
Kitty Fisher, I presume?
It's all her doing. I'm an innocent pawn in all this.
Hardly innocent. Got the posturing. The cat's out of the bag, Professor.
What do you want?
Need you to get Kitty Fisher onto this island.
Possible. She only comes here twice a year, and her next visit is over a month away.
Find a way to make it happen.
Tell her something that captures her interest.
Make her an offer she can't refuse.
How is not our problem. You can work that out. You're a highly regarded award-winning scientist, after all.
Ouch.
So what's your plan?
You don't need to know that. Only your part in it.
We could tell you, but we'd have to kill you.
Less you know, the better for you. So you gonna help us? There's a moment where you could feel a feather drop, and the professor exhales loudly.
No, it really is a relief, truth be told. Half praying for this day to come, for someone as bright as you, Gross 6, to arrive on our poor, corrupted little piece of heaven and restore things to their rightful order.
Is that a yes? Is he saying he's with us? Yes, he's going to do everything in his power to help us. Isn't that so, Professor?
Quite so.
We've done it. Done very well, Gross 6. You've completed everything necessary to bring about a successful conclusion to this mystery. Therefore, you have to be justly rewarded. Sit back and allow us to channel the key players from the history of this adventure so they may tell you your story. Story begins with me, I suppose. It's a common enough start. I was a performer at the Pussy Playhouse. I'd been on stage since I was a child, learning my craft. I put together a dream with powders and paints and everything available to create the perfect fantasy. That's what this is all about, you see. Peddle fantasies. Reality is the kiss of death to magic. I was a master magician, and it paid off. My name began to creep up the list of performers on the posters until, at last, at the age of just 16, I was heading the bill, the toast of London. I could create such an illusion that I captured the hearts of all the gentlemen who came to drool over me. There were admirers by the dozen. 20 white roses sent to my dressing room with a handwritten card. Quest for an audience, an invitation to dinner, was a normal part of my life. Who was I to refuse such an attention? Even for a star as bright as mine, the monetary rewards were small. A wealthy gentleman caller could supplement my humble wages for a whole year with the right sort of gifts. We all understood the rules, each of them wanting to touch that elusive dream. Each also needing to get away and hide their disappointment the moment they did, and it dissolved before their eyes. the time he came along, I was an old hand. I knew the game and expected nothing. I had no reason to think that this one would be any different than the others, so I met the famous man they called Daddy Purse Strings. What I hadn't planned for, could not have foreseen, was how quickly I would fall, so deeply and without reservation. But the man with whom I would happily spend the rest of my days needed to be sure he felt the same way about me. Not her, the captivating illusion, but me, the real Kitty Fisher. The first time I saw her, I couldn't move. She paralyzed me with her beauty and grace, like nothing I'd seen before. Her voice was the sound of heaven. It filled my head until there was no room for anything but her. I wooed her, of course, but this wasn't like the others. She asked for nothing, never made demands, never even accepted the gifts I offered as enticements, became a slave to my desires for her. She asked me to join her in her dressing room after a show one evening. Almost fell running down the corridors to find her. She let me in. She said she had something to show me and asked me to take a seat. Before we commit to anything, you and I need to let you see the truth and know the difference between her and me. She is the goddess, untouchable and rare. I am the simple girl inside. I am real. And with that, she began to peel away the layers of artifice that create the instrument of man's undoing. The wig of high powdered curls hiding her sleek chestnut waves of hair, folding down to her waist, unlacing and removing the corset that molded her hourglass shape to reveal the curve of her tummy, the plumpness of her hips. Set mesmerized slowly, painstakingly, creamed away every last trace of the thick white paste that covered her beautiful pink skin, the wine-red dye staining her rosebud lips, till finally she stood before me, completely natural, without a whisper of pretense. "This is who I really am," she said quietly, and I fell in love. I knew that I had found my wife, the mother of my children. Had a wonderful life together. Adored her from sunrise to sunset. Could not imagine any man being more happy, more in love than me. Blessed by the gods, and we thank them every day. Everything comes at a price, and ours was paid in time. Literally. We were to have the happiest years imaginable, but there were to be only 3 of them. The day my kitty told me of her condition was both the happiest day of my life. She was to bear me a child. Also the day my world fell apart, never to be rebuilt again. I could not fully comprehend what she was saying. All the years of painting her face with that wretched poison was now reaping its grim reward. There's no antidote or cure for the toxic murder that was coursing its way through her veins. If we are fortunate, she may live to carry her baby to term. Her fight and determination saw her through to the birth. I never once doubted her. I was by her side through it all, and I knew this would be her end. Her eyes were still so beautiful and innocent. She covered her face with a silk scarf. I could still make out the contour of her high cheekbones and the outline of her pillowy lips. I could, of course, also see the scars and lesions that gouged her once plump flesh that did not mar her beauty. Oh no, she was still my exquisite angel here on earth. I refused to see the baby, for fear that she might leave a lasting impression on her tiny mind, so we spent our precious last moments together alone. Though we both knew she was dying, we spoke as if she had a lifetime ahead of her. Her high, quivering voice was a bell from heaven when she exclaimed, "We'll raise our girl right. She'll never know what it is to suffer the ugliness of poverty, that which forces a girl into a lifetime of compromise and pain. She must know the beauty of freedom." I kissed the milky white skin of her hand, which was still untouched by death, and carved a promise into my soul that I would honor my darling's wish and never allow any of our bloodline to be enslaved by the prison of ugliness. Do whatever needed to be done to ensure they knew the freedom of beauty. You had that reversed. She knew I had made an oath to her, for it was that moment that her body released her back up to the heavens from whence she came. Love my darling kitty forever and cherish her memory always. My father started Pretty Kitty Cosmetics the moment my mom's funeral was over. It was his way of dealing with the grief that overwhelmed him. Worked so hard that by the time I came of age and he officially handed the company over to me, it was a thriving, healthy concern. I was familiar with all aspects of the business, as Daddy and I made sure I was hands-on from a young age. Having a large shipping company at our disposal was a tremendous boost, able to travel far and wide in our search for the most rare and exotic of ingredients to make up our products. When the reins were placed in my hands, I was determined to push us to even greater successes. and in my direction we were trading with Africa and India. All of our dyes were natural, and the use of harmful ingredients was being kept to a minimum. Within 5 years, I had my own fleet of 6 ships. Kitty's Desire, Kitty's Pride, Kitty's Passion, Kitty's Admiration, Kitty's Attraction, and Kitty's Vanity. As progress on discovering new and fruitful lands surged ahead, the medical side was lagging woefully behind. Carrying out testing on live subjects was a slow and risky process. It eventually became obvious to me the way forward was to open my own small medical facility, be fully in charge of patient well-being and risk factors like infection control. This was a turning point in the development of our research. It made it easier to stay within the ethos of Pretty Kitty, that no harm would be caused to anyone in the making of our cosmetics. I felt my mother would be proud of me. Then one summer, everything changed. A chain of events started with a tragedy involving one of our ships, Kitty's Desire, under the stewardship of a very experienced Captain Corn.
Could have known that when we set sail homeward bound from the Paradise Islands, this pleasant and routine run would become the defining moment of so many diverse stories. A sudden turn in the weather was the first clue this would not be a normal day for the crew of the Kitty's Pride, or Kitty's Desire. The storm that developed when we reached our most vulnerable position out at sea was the worst I'd experienced in all my years of sailing. Needless to say, pirate trash, the scourge of the sea, is always looking for an opportunity, seized upon our disadvantage and tried to overwhelm us. The elements, however, are not discerning, and their ship buckled alongside ours in the battering waves that eventually washed us all to meet whatever fate awaited us on that wretched isle. We tried as best we could to face our trials like gentlemen. Conditions were harsh and the men disheartened. Lack of food was the greatest obstacle to our progress. Hunger robbed the men of their integrity, driving them ever to escalating levels of risk to find animals to hunt. Time and again they returned from scouting expeditions with empty hands and empty bellies. Eventually we had to face the reality the only inhabitants populating this godforsaken place were the cats. The cats were everywhere. I feel ashamed as a man of honor to tell what happened next. The depths of depravity to which some men will sink when starvation has them in its grip is unfathomable to the safe and contented. Faced with a terrible choice, and some succumbed rather than perish. I tried to present the men with alternatives. I gathered the roots and tubers they collected on the forays into the forest, boiled them up with salt from the sea to make a more palatable broth. I knew in my heart it weren't no good. Men need meat, and with no birds or fish or any other creature you might expect to find, they took the only source of meat and supply. I wouldn't eat it. I could never bring myself to do that. So I, along with a handful of proud men, were spared the horrific consequences that came from that indulgence. Sadly, though, we were not spared the witnessing of it. Grown men writhing in such agony they would sooner throw themselves off cliffs than endure the pain.
It burns, God help us, it burns. The cats are scratching on the inside, they're scratching to get out.
Each account was the same. Many crawled away into the forest to die alone. Some tried to swim out to sea only to be crashed against the rocks. Then came the strange accounts from hunting parties returning from further afield, telling stories of hideous monsters, half human, half cat, living in the wilds. It's hard to know what to believe. One night my boy Jim, unable to speak, but bright as any scholar, came back wet as a sheet, shaking like he'd seen the devil himself. He drew a picture in the sand, then slashed himself to a barrel and launched himself out to the mercy of the sea. I never saw him again. Scarce believed my own eyes. I thought it must surely be the hunger playing tricks on me. Spied it from afar at first, scratching in the dirt like an animal. It's bigger than a cat, but with the same ears and tail, covered in fur. Heard my foot break a twig and turn so that I could see the face of a man, a monster half-breed. Looked wild. I knew he was about to go for me, so I turns and runs fast as I can. Didn't stop to look back till I was safe with Captain Libby. The woman has been more than a mother to me. An angel is what she is. It was her who saved my life when the men took at their heads. I was Jonah, bringing bad luck on the ship. Would have killed me proper if she hadn't hid me and kept me safe. Took my tongue before she managed to fight them off, but she nursed me back to health, making sure the infection didn't get me. Know for sure without her I would have danced the hempen jig. This plight, though, what we were facing, even Captain Libby couldn't save from. No human could protect us from the curse that comes from men going against nature. As much as I loved her, I had to leave. I had to try to get back to my little sister and try to find help for them. I don't know how many days I bobbed along, my barrel keeping me afloat and God keeping me alive. It's on my side for sure, and he sent a ship to pick me up before the sharks could get me. It's another kitty vessel, the Kitty's Pride. They seemed almost interested in finding out if I knew anything would happen to our missing crew.
Couldn't talk. As soon as they understood and gave me pencil and paper, I began writing everything down I could of what happened on that nightmare land. Boy, this is kind of dragging a bit. They might have been overboard with this. They treated me like I was a toff. I was taken to the Kitty Fisher Hospital for treatment and convalescence. It's lovely there, clean sheets and hearty food. The nurses were gentle and kind, and some were very pretty, but all the time I prayed that I would soon be back with my sweet Sally.
Just could not understand the results we're getting. From the moment we began testing his blood, we're seeing things I never believed possible. Been looking after this poor chap who's plucked out of the sea, apparently for about a week on Miss Fisher's instructions. Made extraordinarily good progress, and all the nurses are pleased with him. Had little to do with his care because frankly he wasn't sick enough. Doctors with my credentials will only deal with patients who need intervention. The basics nursing to are very capable young ladies. So on the eve of that day I was going to discuss his possible discharge with Miss Fisher that was posed by his night nurse.
Doctor, I need you to come look at one of my patients. It's really urgent.
Followed her to the bed of young Jim. She brought a lamp close to his face.
Open wide, please, Jim.
Peered into her mouth and was baffled for a moment. It's what I thought I was looking at.
It's his tongue, sir.
Appears to be rather shortened, but normal nonetheless.
It's my concern, sir. He has a short tongue? He has any tongue, sir.
Then I remembered, when he was admitted, he didn't have any tongue at all.
After the initial excitement, the early research was slow and laborious. My great-great-grandmother began the quest to find the island. The pirate regained his speech along with his tongue and recounted what had befallen them with remarkable clarity. More astonishing even than the regrowth of his tongue were his blood and tissue tests. All results showed that his cell repair and production was hastened and increased, having the effect of extraordinary healing and rejuvenation. It didn't take them long to work out how a company like Pretty Kitty could benefit from whatever was producing this incredible restoration. The key to opening a whole new world of science was somewhere on that island. It took my ancestors years to locate the place, a tiny speck in the middle of a vast ocean, and more years to work out that the entire piece of land was shrouded by natural repellent force, not unlike magnetic reversal, and that it pushes everything away. It's almost impossible for anything to stumble upon the island by chance. Almost. A lot of time was wasted trying to find a way through the barrier, over it, under it, or breaking it, and quite by chance a discovery was made that changed everything. The visible wall was not a complete circle, rather it was a horseshoe. There was a small opening on one end through which things could pass. Once that part of the puzzle was solved, it was full steam ahead. My great-grandmother made everything legal by staking her claim on the island and having deeds drawn up to prove ownership. No one contested or even showed interest. As you can imagine, that suited my family very well, and the culture of secrecy around Infinity Island began. The fisherwomen before me, right up to my mother, took the project forward, each in their turn. Forged a safe and convenient route, scouted for the best place to build a base camp, and explored and mapped the island. Till it became how you see today, I've contributed very little in the inhabitation of this place. It was handed to me to complete. My skills were far more valuable in the mainland. The research and results have been beyond anything we could have dreamed of, and needed to be properly protected and insured against. Discovered that I have a rather genius for sniffing out the right person for whatever job is required. In no time I'd built a task force whose loyalty and discretion matched their expertise in their field given. So found that if someone had reason to be invested in being faithful to me, so much the better. Made life more certain for all of us. Boy, that is an evil old lady face there. Very posh. It was. Imagine us at the KFMF. The news was not good. Emphysema. To progress beyond help, we were looking at a very grim future. A short one, eh? Don't make light of it, Mason. That was the worst time of my life. It all worked out, though, didn't it? I was admitted to the hospital for a course of treatment. They never really explained what it was. Have a blood transfusions and injections every day for a month, then... most miraculous thing happened. I could breathe again. More than that, all the tests showed his lung tissue was back to normal. It was cured, we were beside ourselves. You'd never pay someone back for something like that. She found a way, though, didn't she, Morrow? We certainly have been made to pay. I don't care, I'd do it all again and more to keep you from pain and disability. She made us an offer after Mason recovered.
Explained about the Cat Island, how she needed people she could trust to live and work there. Top secret because the research was important, but companies might try to infiltrate and steal it. She never mentioned that the authorities, the police, and the government might be more than a bit interested in the practices that was going on there. It seemed ideal at first. We were told that the island has special properties that would keep us healthy and well, prevent Mason's emphysema from returning. It's hard to believe, but it was true. Quickly found ourselves looking younger than we had for many a year. Took care of the cooking and general cleaning of the camp and designated cat areas. Mason was the handyman. Repairs and general dog's body. Miss Fisher had just recruited a new scientist, a proper bigwig apparently, ready to make things nice for his arrival. Did ask what happened to the last team. We learned fast that questions were not welcomed, so we waited the arrival of this Professor Pauper.
My father was a scientist, you know. All my childhood memories of his back as he sat at his desk analyzing ground him into an early grave, that work mentality. His death only made me more determined, inspired me to do what he could not. It's clearly in my DNA. I excelled at university, became the youngest person in my field to achieve a doctorate. Chose animal cloning as my specialization and won a handful of academic awards for my theories, yet more still for my practical work. This is of course a controversial area of science, one of those subjects that's butt against theology, often causing contention. Even the law becomes flimsy this close to the ethical boundaries of science, but often finds oneself in gray areas. I like it, perverse as that may sound, it builds character. The pioneer must keep a clear perspective on his goal intention and have nerves of steel to see it through. Hit the dizzy heights of success in the 80s when I won the DP Foundation Award for Scientific Advancement for the results I was getting in the field of animal hormone therapy. As always, there was a brouhaha, the Animal Rights Brigade joining forces with the Bible thumpers and demanding I be hung, drawn, and quartered or some such nonsense. Got quite tricky for a while there, and the law intervened and tied up my research, so I was no longer at liberty to work without having to explain myself to one governing body or another. Lost my enthusiasm. A man of genius is not permitted to express himself freely, he quickly becomes disillusioned. Began to sink into the quicksand of complacency. Whiskey helped.
I knew it.
I dreaded to think what might have ended if Kitty Fisher Science Foundation hadn't thrown me a lifeline. It's the most intriguing offer I'd ever been made. It's all cloak and daggers at the start, but once I was on board, I understood the need for discretion. Again, I found myself skating on the thin ice of morality. Too many inquisitive intruders could prove heavy enough to crack the foundations, sending us all under. I was given a free hand to pursue my own research alongside the work I was doing for Pretty Kitty Company. The investigations into the rejuvenating properties of the island and how they may be harnessed and made effective in the cosmetic products was interesting enough, if a little superficial. However, it was the work with the island's inhabitants, the cats, that really intrigued me. I had some understanding through my study of their DNA that these were no ordinary species. Some, of course, were domestic monkeys like you might have on your lap at the very moment. Others were entirely different. As the months rolled by, I became more absorbed in my work here. See now that I began to lose sight of the bigger picture. Miss Fisher was demanding ever more intrusion into the lives of these animals. I was no longer able to say no, it was in too deep. There was a time long ago when an incident regarding one of my research assistants so troubled me I tried to make a stand. I was made aware that my compliance was the only thing that stood between me and disappearance. There's nowhere to run. The only way off this island was guarded by our henchmen.
First son Jake didn't take up so much of our time, I didn't dare hope we'd have another. Grace was the perfect mother, devoting herself to his care without complaint. Muscular dystrophy is a demanding condition, and she was much a nurse as she was a mother. Joe and Bob have like 2 minutes of screen time, outside of them killing you if you screw up. So during the birth of our second baby, Joe, complications developed that took her from us, as near to going to have everything to fill her shoes. First thing I did was hand in my notice to the shipping company. Though I'd been given opportunities to rise through the ranks, I always declined promotions. I'm a family man. Spending time with Grace and Jake meant more to me than more power or money. We did all right. Childcare and benefits would have helped in a time of need, but I knew the Lord would provide. He looked after all, and so we were. The sooner I quit my job than I got a phone call asking if I could meet with Miss Kitty Fisher. Scratched my head over that one. What could a big boss lady possibly want with me? Didn't have to wait long to find out. As a few hours later, it's knock at my door, and there she is. I guess this is the... Is this the current one, I guess? Clearly you have your hands full, Bob, so I thought it'd be easier all around the mountain if I came to Muhammad. Or if the mountain came to Muhammad, so to speak. Speechless, there she was on her own. No entourage, no security, nothing. In the middle of making lunch, so I invited her in. All sat down together. Me and Jake and Miss Fisher holding baby Joe. eaten aki and saltfish together. She'd think you've seen it all. She cut to the chase, I'll give her that. She said how much she appreciated the loyalty I'd shown to the company over the years. She always spotted good un. Perhaps we could be helpful to each other in these difficult times. I don't know it was difficult for her, but me and my boys could do all the help we could get, so I sat straight and listened well. Explained about her less public company project on a remote location in the middle of the ocean. The position is opened up for an experienced ferryman, someone who understood the value of discretion, someone with integrity. Showed me how happy she was to reward those qualities and proceeded to outline her plan. The humility that kept you the level of water patrol, regardless of your exceptional skills and experiences, is of great interest to me, Bob. Prepared to make what you believe will be a very attractive offer. Can't be easy for you to look out for Jake whilst also taking care of this little munchkin. She bounced Joe in her arms in the time she was talking. Agree to my terms, I can ease your burden considerably. Ensure that both your children receive the highest quality of care available, including a place in our medical facility when Jake needs treatment, round-the-clock nursery for baby Joe, allowing you to work for a very handsome wage. The hours will be limited so you can spend much of your time with the boys, but the salary will not be limited in any way. Lord was smiling in our house that day, and I've been the island ferryman ever since. Years rolled by, and by the time Joe was 12, it was obvious he wasn't going to get much more from formal schooling. Lack of oxygen during his birth made him slow. Could have been so much worse, but thanks to the Lord, his brain damage wasn't debilitating. Just made it hard for him to fit in. He's big for his age and stronger than average. So when he got teased at school and lashed out, he could have been a danger to other kids. Especially was deemed best all around if he left school and took up an apprenticeship with me. Again, Miss Fisher stepped up to help and got the right letters written, the right calls made to keep authorities happy. Then we were a team, Bob and Joe, the ferryman. What about your other son? Where's he at? What's he doing? Things have changed on the job over the years. We used to only do one run a month to the island, delivering supplies and collecting stuff. These days we travel twice a week sometimes. Duties have changed, but I don't look too closely at things like that. Job's the job. Be on time, do what's required, and don't ask questions. To the business with security guard and his wife, the goalposts moved considerably. I should keep my boy out of it as much as possible. Made sure I only used the tranquilizing gun. But I had to have Joe's help with containing the ferals, at least. Until the change was complete and we could release them back onto the island. Oh, so he didn't kill us. Over time, I asked why bother going all the trouble of taking them out to the sea just to return them again as cats. The professor told me he didn't want to be implicated. Being out in open water fudged the responsibility issues. It seems to me there was a lot of fudging going on. Felt bad about it all, of course. But Jake was alive and well and beyond reasonable prognosis. Wasn't going to do anything and put that in jeopardy. Was sorry for Zane, I liked him, but what could I do? This just keeps going, doesn't it? Oh my god. This is like the longest epilogue to a game ever. She's the love of my life. I knew as soon as I clapped her eyes on her and followed her to the ends of the earth. Funny that, because as it turned out, I sort of did. Oh my god. And you know we're going to get epilogues for all 6 of the cats, too. Oh my god. I worked in the local gym as a trainer. I was 5 years older than her. Our wedding was a happy day. Set off on a honeymoon. So we went to the island. What are the odds? Seemed like a nice honeymoon opportunity. We arrived. It's overrun with cats. He's allergic. His wife was Neko was unhappy. Talked to the professor. Popper said he would deal with it. Zane got recalled. Neko stayed. And that's when she got turned. Okay, and told him. Blah blah. Professor and her were trying to find an antidote and needed to stay. Okay, blah blah blah. Professor kept me informed, but then eventually stopped. New assistants came and went. Kept up hope. I was very naive. By the time I figured out what was going on, it was too late. There'd never been an accident, and there was never going to be an antidote. It's until you came along, Gross 6, and I have a feeling from the start you were different. Shame about Gross 1 through 5. Thank you, Zane. Thank you all for sharing your stories. Stories, are you alright, Grosspitz? You've seen a ghost. Didn't you hear them? Hear who? Oh my god, we hallucinated all of that. It wasn't even real. Oh, staring at me in such a way, I just know whatever I just heard was intended for my ears only. I know what we're doing is right. We're all united, okay? So many have been harmed. So many used. Each of you has bitter nature, your love, and turned a weapon against you to force you to do things I'm sure have hurt you immeasurably. Even you, Professor, your love of work, of science, was used to blind you to the truth of the harm you're doing. It's obvious that nobody in this story started out with evil in their hearts. In fact, it just seems the opposite is true. How sad that in shifting your moral compass by just 1 degree, you have over time come so very far, of course. We've all lost so much, there'll never be a way to get it back. Turn our losses to lessons and move forward with hope. So listen, all of you. I promise you the story will end today. Work together to stop this evil here and now. Return this island to its rightful owners. From my vantage point, I can see Kitty Fisher stepping off the boat. She looks exactly as I pictured her. The wind was in the right direction. I imagined she would smell divine. She has her 2 beasts from hell with her. Reggie and Ronnie, huge Doberman attack dogs. Zane has told me she hated cats, but I didn't really believe him until now. These 2 monsters would make short work of anything on this island apart from the elders, to keep our wits about us. Just about hear her and the professor as they pass where I'm hiding.
It's a long journey, my dear. You must be exhausted.
I'm used to it, but the weather is very warm today. A cold refreshment would be welcome.
Of course, we'll head to the mess tent.
Need my darlings fed and watered, you'll see to that. She's talking to Zane, who's walking 2 steps behind them, looking like the perfect bodyguard. As he passes, I see his fingers crossed behind his back.
Be well sorted, madam.
They've gone, and it's safe to move. I scramble to my next position near the mess tent. I see the others are all at their posts waiting for a signal. I'm sure Miss Fisher and the professor are seated comfortably, a gesture to the lads. Kibbles and McMurphy shoot out of their hidey holes and run up as close to the 2 snarling beasts as possible, without being in range of the gnashing fangs. All hell is broken loose. Ronnie and Reggie are going wild, snapping and straining at their leashes to get the 2 brave cats who are hissing and spitting along with some choice language that, thankfully, only I can understand. Then a split second, Zane has jumped up behind the dogs and with one movement unclips the chains from their collars. We'll hold our breaths as they lurch forward to the pair who are springing as fast as their little legs will carry them. Same time, I hear her voice over the receding din. What on earth is going on out there? Then, seeing Zane with their leads and no dogs. What you do, you fool? You've let them go. Yes, miss. What are you waiting for? Go after them. Afraid I'm not going to do that, miss. She turns to the professor. Percival, fire this ignoramus. He's not going to do that, miss. Y'all gone insane, Percival?
He's right, I'm afraid.
Goodness sake, you're both fired. Pack your things this instant. Do this the easy way or the hard way, miss. She turns on Zane and lashes him across the face.
Hard way it is, then.
He's caught her arm and in one swift maneuver brought his other hand and plunged the needle into her neck. What the? He's... She stumbles towards Professor Pauper. Jacked at me with something. What is it? Then rounding on Zane. What was that?
Calm yourself, Kitty dear. I'm afraid it's too late to put up a fight. The damage has been done.
Damage? What are you talking about? Explain yourself. Perhaps I can help with that. Who are you? What's going on here? He's holding her neck and shaking with rage and shock. Find Miss Fisher a chair, please. We need to have a chat, and it may take some time. Zane grabs a chair from the mess tent. I don't want to sit, I need answers.
I think you'd best do as you've been told, young lady.
Yes, with all emoting will play havoc with your frown lines. Finally, Kitty Fisher has been silenced. She looks from one cat to the next in disbelief. Think she can hear us? How? It's not possible.
Afraid it is, my dear.
She plumps down on the seat. My name is Gross 6. I'm the current research assistant. Ignore the other several hundred that came before and all died. I've been infected with a virus that causes feline transition, and as you know, like so many others before me, I would not have allowed this to reach the mainland. Kitty brings her hand back to her neck with a look of realization. Yes, that's right, Miss Fisher. You are now in the process of transition. The blood in the syringe was willingly donated by our very good friend Ravenpaw. She's half-elder and has the ability to infect. She was your only success at interbreeding. Sadly, her parents, along with many others, were killed in those experiments, but she survived. Seriously telling me I've been infected? Would your deduction be given your newly acquired linguistic abilities? Why? To force your hand. There are things we need from you that will not give without leverage. What things? You're trying to blackmail me? Understand who you're dealing with? I certainly do, Miss Fisher, and I have the utmost respect for the many good things the Fisher Foundation has contributed to the world in so many diverse areas. However, the atrocities you've instigated here on this island are unforgivable. Every time I see that word, I think of those videos. How dare you judge me? You're nothing. And yet, I seem to have your future firmly in my hands. Think you're so clever? Let me tell you. Actually, let me tell you. Here's the situation. We have positioned Neko in a secret location. Zane steps forward and shows Kitty Fisher his catalog. This is Neko. She was the first researcher you hired to assist in Pauper with this project. She's a brilliant scientist with a bright future ahead of her until she discovered too much about the Pretty Kitty Foundation. You ordered her to be forcefully injected with the virus. Do you remember her? Kitty frowns. Of course I don't. How could I? Maybe because she threatened to blow the whistle on this whole operation? A dawning realization spreads across Kitty's face. Her, that little busy bee, buzzing around my business. Why should I concern myself with her? She's long gone. Catching mice and scratching fleas, hardly a threat. The date on this photo, miss. That goes proof the antidote works. Oh, good. Kitty draws a gun from her pocket. Give me the antidote and I won't blow your tiny brains out. I wouldn't do that if I were you. As you see, as Neko reverted, all the memories came back. Just a world of information and proof of the despicable things you've been doing here. Find her, Percival, and bring her to me this instant.
It's not on the island, my dear.
Her secret location is on the mainland, where she is now waiting a call from us, which if she doesn't get by 1800 hours, she will then attend the press conference she set with a global news syndicate, and we can expect visitors here very soon. Kitty's demeanor changes. What is it you want? To atone for the heinous crimes you've committed here, not only against the cats and humans, but the island itself. So we've had Neko visit a reputable law firm and have your contract drawn up. Be couriered to your legal department as soon as you give the word. In a nutshell, it allows you to continue your research here on the island with the following provisions. You fund a veterinary clinic on the island to be set here, dedicated to the well-being of the cats. All your research which involves cats or animals of any kind ceases immediately. However, you may continue to research this island's properties with due consideration for the effect you have on the environment. All results and findings from here on in must be shared with the World Health Organization for the benefit of mankind. Won't have time to read the finer details now. You can trust us that there are no hidden traps. Ask for a modest allowance for anyone who chooses to return to the mainland and the guarantee of a job for life if they want it. Certainly know how to pick people you have loyalty and integrity. Finally, those qualities will be put to better use and everyone will be a lot happier. This just keeps going. What do you say, Miss Fisher? This is like longer than any of the actual arcs were. Jesus. Where do I sign? Not gonna put up a fight? Battle is nothing. The war's been fought and already won. Bravo, child. Besides, I know a good offer when I see one. Be rehumanized, escape incarceration, continue with my highly profitable cosmetic research, and I get to be the good guy, sharing my discoveries with the world? Excellent PR and marketing. I couldn't have asked for more. I can't help smiling. Kitty Fisher turned out to be every inch the businesswoman I imagined. I feel like she got off way too easy. I wanted a bad end for her, but decided to hold our meeting on the cliffs that lead to the rainbow pools. It smells just heavenly. Just half right. When the breeze in our direction, it carries a sickly sweet perfume, even this far along. Remember when I first came here to meet with Trixie, it amazed me. I know this place had been used to add perfumes and dyes to the cosmetics. Everything about the island was so baffling then. How long ago that seems. Major, do you want to begin? Loves calling us to order and is great at keeping us on track. It makes him an obvious choice for chairperson.
Yes, thank you, Grass 6. If I could have your attention, Kibbles.
Sun is glistening off silver specks in the rocks and his distracted Kibbles. He's hunched with his ears pinned flat to his head, ready to pounce. Stop catching the lucilites! I'm not. Making sure there are no hidden microphones. No one has bugged the sunbeams, Kara. Come over here and let's hear their latest intel. Alright, a debrief, I'm on it.
As you all know, Grass 6 has extraordinary success with the antidote. Neko has not shown any contradictions in the period since our transition, so time has come at last to arrive for each of us to think very carefully whether we want to undergo treatment to bring about our own rehumanization. At this point in the proceedings, I would like to hand it over to Grass 6.
Thanks, Major. So we're finally here. It's a big step. One or two things need to be said before anything happens. Though I'm very confident in the safety of the serum, I feel we need to exercise some caution with regard to our emotional well-being. Not everyone may wish to give up the life they have made for themselves. Each of you may search for your own hearts, but I suggest you also talk with each other for support. Needless to say, I'm available if you wish to go over things with me. I guess the other 5 researchers are just dead. Trixie holds up a paw. When's all this going to happen? Will it be available to all the cats? Good questions, Trix. Firstly, yes, all the cats will be offered the opportunity to undergo transition. But we thought it'd be best to offer it to you first. You've been instrumental in bringing this about. That way, should you choose, you can be extra pairs of hands to help when we roll to everyone else. It'll be a bit chaotic at first, but what thing on Cat Island is ever straightforward? Exciting times, Gara. Mac's right, let's enjoy the rest of this adventure. We've earned it. We begin in 3 days. It's 3 real days, actually. I have to come back and play this in 3 real days. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Kibbles hasn't been seen for a week and I'm anxious. The antidote has been so successful on me I stopped being able to communicate with cats a few days ago. Can't even get any information about him. All I've been able to do is turn up at the designated place every day and leave his dose in a petri dish, mixed with chicken. Every time I return, the dish is empty, so I assume he's taking it. It's been a roller coaster, taking my daily stats and seeing everything returning to normal. No mixture of sadness at separating from my feline community, but excitement also at seeing the antidote do its job. Finally, we're here, the last day, final showdown. Told Kibbles a week ago I'd meet him at this spot. Left some of my clothes for him and then hoped that the results are good, and here I am. It's Gross 5. No answer, so I sit down and wait. It's not coming. Something's wrong. Something lands on me from behind and sends me sprawling. Being wrestled by someone, I manage to scramble free as I hear a familiar voice.
I won. You're useless against me now, full strength. You'll never beat me.
It's him. It's Kibbles. Wow, look at you, Kibbles. This is amazing. Exactly how I imagined he would look. Yeah. A little taller, maybe, but the lopsided grin is there, and I'm used to him instantly.
What do you think? That wouldn't make the grade? Think again, lesser mortal, from a god.
Certainly are. So all went okay?
Of course not, it was a spin in a phone box. You kidding? Check out these beauties.
Wriggles his thumbs in my face. Wow, Kibbles, we can have thumb wars.
Yeah, but can we not call me that dumb name anymore? Yeah, that.
What should we call you? Got anything in mind?
Thought if this day ever comes to it, I want a name befitting the momentousness of it.
Straightens himself up to his full height, shoulders back, chest puffed. Gonna be able to keep a straight face.
Stanthang Helm Crush.
First, I'm not sure if it's a joke, but the earnest look on his face tells me he's perfectly serious. Well, it's very...
Call me Stan for short.
I heave a sigh of relief and quickly grab him in a hug. Great to finally meet you, Stan. Good God.
When we're in company, you always must use my full name.
I will. Stanthang Helm Crush, I certainly will. We stare at each other for what feels like an awkwardly long time, and decide to finally break the silence. Just one more question needs to be answered.
Oh yeah, I've been giving that some thought. PC or console?
Talking about our future.
Oh yeah, me too. Need to pick one soon if we're gonna game together.
Stan, I'm talking about where we put the PC.
You're thinking PC, huh?
Kibbles, I'm asking if you should live here on this island or start our lives together on the mainland. I think they need to go mainland. Nervously waiting for Snooty to make her entrance, she told me to wait for her at our favorite spot under the shade. Can't wait to see her in human form. That's assuming it worked for well as her as it did for me. Both been taking the antidote for the past week. Her strict instructions, I've not been allowed to see her, but my results have been amazing. All my vitals have returned to normal. You know you should stand in the presence of a lady, Gross One. I hear her before I see her, and the sound of her voice gives me goosebumps. Jump up and turn around, but still no sight. Snoots? That name is no longer suitable. Demand you stop using it immediately. Whatever you say, madam, please just come out so I can see if it's worked. If it worked? Of course it's worked. Why would it work on you and not me? Let's follow her voice behind the largest of the trees. I catch my first sight of her. Man, they really went with it. She's actually an old lady. My goodness, you look incredible. Wow, we went cougar hunting, apparently. Yes, well, we're going to have to get me some decent clothes. These rags you left for me will not do, not one bit. Wearing a dress I managed to pilfer from Mrs. Marigold's washing line, hangs rather forlornly on her tall, elegant frame. Shopping is the first thing on my agenda. Slow down a minute, Snoots. Let's take it nice and easy. You're new to all this. Actually, I'm not. Fewer memories than I expected have returned. It's enough to tell me I was a very competent human being for a long time. What's more, I was an extremely talented shopper. I cannot wait to visit the mainland and brush up my skills. All the time in the world, do whatever you want. Take it there's no regrets? Taking leave of your sense? Look at me. Why would I regret anything? Right, you look stunning. She is. I see the alabaster skin she was always protecting in the frame of delicate bones. Truly aristocratic. How do you feel? Remarkably well, considering. So it's dramatic twirl so I can appreciate her beauty, and then stops in front of me. I owe you my gratitude, Ross One. You'll never be able to thank you enough. I'll certainly never stop trying. Can't believe these words are coming out of her mouth. Where is it then? Is what? Trust you've arranged first-class transport for me. My delicate constitution does not travel well. Oh, snooty booty, it's a 5-minute walk in a camp. Very well. Suddenly she's leading the way. Feeling this is the pattern of how our lives are gonna be. Don't mind, I'm just happy. I was thinking of Prudence. Oh, who's that? Me, possibly. Prudence suits me, does it not? You can be called whatever you like, Prudence. Waits for me to catch up to her and slips her delicate little hand in mine and gives it a gentle squeeze. We have some serious talking to do. Suppose you'll want to get my grooming requirements as a human, massage, things like that. Suppress the laugh that's working its way up to my throat. It's of course that, but where will our future lives be? Here in the mainland. Mainland. She wants to go shopping. Today's the day. My God. I'm so tired. Out of water. Heart is in my mouth as I make my way to our meeting spot. I haven't seen Mac for a week. Each day I've left the saucer outside his little hideout. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mac, it's me. I don't know if you can understand me anymore. Are you there? Hear something rustle in the bushes.
Are you sure you are ready for this?
Mac, thank goodness you're okay. Strikes me I can hear him again. You're speaking.
Never stopped doing that as far as I'm aware. Go as far as to say I'm a born orator.
Don't come out of those bushes right now. I'm coming in to get you.
I knew you'd never be able to control yourself around me.
I don't know. I was expecting more rugged. There he is, strange and wonderful at the same time. McMurphy has stood out in front of me, a little restricted by the clothes I left for him. My size, not his. He's bigger than I'd imagined, taller and broader, but every bit as rugged and handsome. Wow, McMurphy, is that really you?
Now, don't you think that could only be one of me? Disappointed or delighted, truth now.
Want to laugh, I'm so happy. Of course, I'm delighted. Step forward to hug this amazing friend who I've shared such a journey with. We embraced for a long time.
You know I'm gonna need to know my first name.
I didn't know you had one. I just thought of you being McMurphy, like Madonna, or Cher,
or Prince,
or Cher.
Connor.
It's Connor.
Me, that's my name.
I stand back and look at him. Yes, I like it. It suits you. You always be Murph to me.
Actually, Cara, you used to call me Mac, didn't you?
I think I did sometimes, so what's in a name?
That which we call a rose, by any other word, would smell as sweet.
Get you remembering Shakespeare already.
Have to say, I was a bit worried I might regret transitioning. Shakespeare, you, not a bit of it. I think this will get better and better. Led me to the nearest tavern.
Maybe further than you think. I feel like he would be a good caretaker for the island. Like he likes the kind of adventurous things that are here. Okay. Trixie found out I had a breakthrough with the antidote. She insisted I try it on her as well. Okay. Leave some for her every day. Human. I mean, Gross 3. Her voice is the same. Can open your eyes now. In spite of my fear, I open my eyes, and as soon as I see her, I let out a gasp. Well? You're human. Yeah, this awkward, bald, clumsy body is definitely not feline. You disappointed? Obviously, we spoke a lot whether it was the right thing for her. Might she miss being a cat? What things could go wrong? I was more worried than her. Trixie takes everything in stride. Just be another part of the adventure, Humie. Never really thought about the possibility of her not liking being a human once she transitioned. Suddenly I'm scared she thinks she's made a mistake. Are you? Am I what? Disappointed in me? It's when I really look at her for the first time, standing in front of me, the tiny calico cat I've come to know so well. Only she's not that cat anymore. Instead, she's a beautiful human with milky skin and wild hair. Still delicate, but strong and fierce and wonderful. I'm utterly under your spell. You could never disappoint me. Good, because I intend to stay by your side for the rest of my one and only life. We step towards each other, and then we're holding hands, and we're spinning. I love you, Trixie. My name is Belle. Pleasure to meet you, Belle. As we slow to a stop, I realize it's time to come back down to Earth. Now we're going to have to make some big decisions. I think she needs to stay on the island because she kind of likes the mystical aspect of it, and also would be good taking care of the remaining cats. Alright. Oh, I guess they're saving Major for last? I assumed Ravenpaw would be the last one. Alright. Blah blah blah. Close my eyes and wait. Finally, I feel a delicate cold hand on my shoulder. Somehow I instantly know that it belongs to Ravenpaw. Shock of excitement runs through me as I realize this means the antidote works not just on me, but also on fully transitioned cats and half-elders. Here, I guess? So happy to hear her voice again. Spent so many hours sitting together going over every detail of what transition might entail. Not just the physical changes and possible difficulties, but also the feelings. It's a far riskier decision for Ravenpaw than any of the others. She'd never been human. We weren't even sure if it would work on her. What would cause trauma or injury, left her deformed or debilitated? Replay our last conversation in her head. Think I'll still feel like a cat, trapped in a human body? Well, none of the cats said they felt like humans trapped in cats' bodies. Probably be the same the other way around. Just can't know. Made up my mind. I want us to be together and to be free to do anything we want. Might travel the world together. And now she is, fully transformed. Yeah, well, I was thinking about that. I don't think the name Ravenpaw suits me much anymore. Guess I should have a human name now, right? So I thought about Miranda. Oddly enough, she looks exactly as I'd imagined she would, with raven black hair and those beautiful eyes, one brown and the other blue. And you couldn't actually put that there, huh? It's a bit of a backhanded compliment. No, you're beautiful. How do you feel? Feels familiar, yet I can't. Maybe you feel your parents within your bloodline? Definitely have a strong sense of my mother. Like I remember her more clearly. She's a wonderful human. So are you, Miranda. No regrets? No, in fact, I feel like I've come home. Does that sound weird? Reach out and touch the silky hair, moving it away from her face. She catches my hand and kisses it. Thank you. Step towards her and wrap my arms around her. Won't have changed my name to Ferdinand, will I? Well, I'd have to start to laugh, more from relief than anything else. We know we have each other now, and life will never be the same or lonely again. Anywhere is home with you. I feel like they have to leave, because she's been here her whole life and wants to travel the world. Also, you can't... Like, being alone on an island is, like, kind of the ultimate goth thing, but, you know. Maybe come back to that later. Okay. And now Major, finally. He really is just an old man. Before you open your eyes, I feel it's only appropriate
I make this speech to mark the momentous occasion. The man first invented the wheel.
Can't stop myself from leaping and flinging my arms around the man who has been my best friend for 6 months. Major, you're human? I can't believe it. Wow, he even respawned with a monocle. Major seems to wipe a tear from his eye. Perhaps I imagine it clears his throat.
Yes, as I was saying.
Major, as much as I love to hear your speeches, can I suggest we walk as we talk? Meeting the others at camp, we don't have very long to get there.
Marvelous hearing as a feline. Having a party certainly wouldn't be my choice. One has to be a little gracious.
But losing the feline hearing.
The swings and roundabouts, my dear. Certainly looking forward to gaining mastery of a pair of thumbs again.
Don't want to be late.
Efficient timekeeping is an important quality. Is that not how we are going forward? Teammates, perhaps I have it wrong.
See an unfamiliar look of uncertainty. Not at all, Major. As you so eloquently put it, we are teammates for life.
One last thing, if I may. Prefer you call me by my human name from now on. I remembered it rather pleasingly. It's Tom.
Major Tom. Good on you.
Just Tom, I think.
Tom it is. Where should we start our life together? I feel like they need to go back to the mainland so that he can no longer be racist against the elder cats. It just ends. Oh my god, that was exhausting. Whew. I'll lose my voice probably. But we did it. So Gross 1 got with Prudence, Gross 2 with the Major, Gross 3 with Belle, Gross 4 with Connor, Gross 5 with Stan, Gross 6 with Miranda. We did it. We found love 6 times and stopped the pharmaceuticals industry from doing something. Woken in the middle of the night by sounds coming from the living room of our apartment. Guessing it's Kibbles, or rather Stan, as he's known these days. Still more epilogues, huh? Just couldn't let it go. As I enter the room, I jump at the full screen image on his PC monitor. Snooty booty with fangs, dripping blood from them down her chest, a mad, wild look in her eyes. What the hell, Kibbles? Name? Right, Stan, what the hell is that? I know, awesome, right? Is it your project? Working really hard for his finals at art college. He's making a graphic novel about an island full of werecats who begin to eat the settlers who invaded the island. I think we may have some unresolved issues, but he insists he's fine.
Yep, got loads more to do. Did you put a pizza in the microwave for me?
Sure midnight snacking's a good idea?
Yeah, I'm starving.
Let's make a salad to go with it, and I'll join you. Show me the new artwork.
Grab a couple beers, let's pull an all-nighter. We can work on our cosplay for MangaCon next weekend.
The hell, I don't have to go to my veterinary practice tomorrow, and I can resist the thought of getting a preview of what Stan's wearing next week. He's been keeping it under wraps for weeks, teasing me about how he's going to take first prize in the competition. Been off the island for a year now, though he's taken some adjusting and couldn't be happier. Stan keeps me on my toes, it makes me laugh, and he stops me becoming too much of a stuffy scientist. Got a cat, too. It's his idea when we were administering the antidote to all the cats on the island who wanted to revert. Discovered there were lots of litters of kittens who had lost parents and needed rehoming. Stan wanted to take an entire litter.
A full raid team.
Insisted we only take one. No one knew how any of it was going to work out. Apart from the abandoned kittens, there were also parents who discovered they couldn't cope with so many children once their litters had been rehumanized. Yeah, that's, seems a little awkward. For a while it was chaotic, but the island is like one huge family, really. All started adopting and fostering, and in the end no one was left uncared for. Not even our little fella. When we relocated, Stan said it would be a shame not to take him with us, our own piece of island living on the mainland. Sometimes we talk about returning.
We're old and want a quieter life.
Not so quiet according to the letters I get from Zane and Neko. Apparently there's a cocktail bar and everything there now.
Rather have a beer here with you.
I've forgotten all their names. I'm just so tired I don't even care anymore. It's still going. My god. I don't think I've ever felt more frightened in my entire life. Prudence wants assistance at work.
Oh, for heaven's sake, would you relax? You're supposed to look professional, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, I might just click through these. I'm seriously really tired. Just hide the models, you can just read this stuff. Anybody who's interested in watching. Geek Chic. Oh, doing a photo shoot with Gross One. Yeah, spotlights get pretty warm. How did they, like, get back into society like this, I wonder? Like, did they have proper documentation? Are they just, like, illegal immigrants? Or what's going on with this? Nature's provided you everything you need to command a camera, blah, blah, blah. Greatest strength is greatest weakness. It's her who decided we should leave the island, except not, it was me. Me, JD, all along. Nothing we can't have on the mainland and better too. Sushi for lunch. Wonderful. Only 4 more of those. Probably more. We'll probably get epilogues for Zane's third cousin. A long, busy day in the new vet hospital. I'm so grateful that Murphy insisted on building his own island bar. Okay, that makes sense. They have a hospital bar, a school, a grooming parlor, shops, a cafe, and even alternative therapy sanctuary, which used to be Trixie's cave. Wonder where she lives now then. We love it here. Mac and I are still together and happy, though I must remember to call him Connor. Bar is lively. Who's here? The love of my life. Our first anniversary, 1 year, oh my god. He's devastated we forgot. Hands me an elaborate looking cocktail with loose lights. It's like iced tea with a devilish twist. It's got manna in it. Oh my gosh. Secret ingredient. It still has the pirate grog in it. His private collection. Oh my goodness. He asked us to marry him. It's a kind of weird looking ring, but okay. It's a homemade necklace. Nice. Wear it with pride. Yay, we did it. We married an alcoholic stereotype. Bill's alternative therapies. Aura is overdue for a cleanse. It sure is. Color's bad and you're just unbalanced. Scientist, Bill, it's all about the head. Vet, actually. You have the biggest heart on this island. Alright. Getting a massage. That's very good. In the weird crystal cave. See, I knew this worked out well for her. This place is popular. Trixie's amazing. Kids want gems. Left the elder territory alone. Now my chakra is balanced.
100% balanced. Stand on one legs. Oh my god. Wants to adopt kittens. 3 kittens. Well, that's good. Everyone's adopting kittens. Ravenpaw is performing in a dive bar. That's good. Third booking she's had this month. I was gonna say it's Miranda now. We moved to Camden. Why did they get very specific with that one? Everybody else was just like, the mainland. They're like, oh no, we moved to Camden. Really? Of all the places you could have picked? Oh, she's doing a poetry slam. Okay. In a dive bar. In Camden. She's reading poetry. Very moving and sad. I feel like she doesn't know how to be human. Probably should have stayed on the island. But we have 3 kids. 2 of our triplets scramble to their feet. Oh, and they're gathering garbage for Major Tom. Amazing. I did not know that this was going to take this long. Oh my god. Treasure for Major Tom. Looks like he could be in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. They're in London. Makes sense. They found a gold tooth. They know exactly what tooth it is. Okay, so yeah, Major wanted to adopt kids and then move to the mainland. Alright. Tom likes living in London, he likes the city. Go back for holidays. Finally. Maybe. No, wait. We did it. 4 hours later. Whew. One of these days I'm going to learn my lesson with these games, and instead of doing like 2 short streams and a 3rd long one, I'll just do 3 moderate ones. I don't know. I didn't dislike this. I think the issue is that they clearly drew some heavy inspiration from Hatoful Boyfriend and Doki Doki Literature Club. But I think they, like, no offense to them, but I think they kind of missed what makes those games so good and work. Hatoful Boyfriend leans into the whole you're human dating pigeons thing and just gets ridiculous with it. And it's really cheesy and fun and stupid in the best way. And that's great. And Doki Doki Literature Club is like a big dark twist that plays with the conventions of the genre and gets really meta. and it works. And I think this tries to do both, and it doesn't do either quite well enough. The dating thing almost felt like a side mission to the mystery. Like it was just kind of there. And there was times when I wasn't sure if things were done in jest or not. Like this should have been really hammy and fun with a dark mystery in the background. I think that would have made it good if it's like there's all this just like deplorable things happening on the island, but you're going on these cute fun dates. Like it never committed enough to anything to really work for me, I don't think. Yeah. And oh my god, put a skip button in your visual novel. Replaying to get caught back up to this point, or where we started the stream rather, sucked. That's like a basic thing for visual novels. I mean, I will give them credit though. This is, 2 people made this game, and I think they did a good job with it. And I see what they were going for, but it's one of those things where I just wish they had pushed a little harder with it in one direction or the other, and I think they would have really nailed it. But yeah, we got a lot of the endings. Apparently I have to replay it. You have to play it a total of 4 times completely to 100% it. I don't have the energy for that since there's no skip button. But it doesn't matter, because we found 6 dates in time for Valentine's Day. 6 very perfect dates. And even though I had issues with this game, like I just said, I did still enjoy it for the most part. I'm very tired now, though. So whether you're here live or you watch this VOD later on down the road, this very long VOD, hope you enjoyed this too. And until next time, have a good one.